Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And good afternoon, hockey friends, and welcome back inside Memorial Gardens here as you are watching Battalion Hockey on the front line. This afternoon, the London Knights finish off a 3-game northern swing as they are in town to take on the North Bay Battalion. The one and only trip this year, the London Knights take into North Bay. You're watching the Frontline broadcast. I am Derek Lindemann, and today's pregame show is brought to you by...
The pregame show is brought to you by La Herda Imports, family owned and operated since 1995. Visit LaHerdaImports.com for more details.
And I'm joined this afternoon by the one and only Ben Sargent. Ben, welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been a while, but it's good. I picked a good game to come back.
You did. 2 teams with almost identical records. Both teams 42 wins on the season. London currently atop of the Western Conference. North Bay sitting second in the Eastern Conference. Tops of the Central, only 3 points ahead of the Barrie Colts. It's going to be a big matchup for both of these squads.
Yeah, and the last time I did a game, at least we were neck and neck with Ottawa. They go off on this, the Battalion go off on this road trip, and the next thing you know, all of a sudden Ottawa ends up clinching the division, or the conference, and the Battalion now all of a sudden very close to Barrie, and they've done a good job. How would a 5-game winning streak after a very disappointing weekend in the U.S., getting only one victory against the Saginaw Flint and the Sarnia road trip, and 5-game winning streak, and got to give a lot of props to a little guy called Charlie Robertson. How about him picking up, after having kind of a struggling last month and a half or so, picked up back-to-back shutouts against Niagara and Oshawa?
Well, you can even go further back. In the last 5 games in this winning streak, only 3 goals given up in the 5-game stretch. The month of February, the Battalion only won 5 games as they traded wins and losses basically for the whole month of February. It's really nice to see them go on a winning streak, but it's going to be tough tonight as they look to make it 6 straight as one of the top teams in the league already clinched the Midwest division, the London Knights.
Yeah, and how about clinching that division for the 4th straight year, and that just shows how good this Knights team is. Very interesting for them, for both of these teams. The next 6-7 games that they have left on their schedule, extremely important. We talked about the Battalion, who are fighting for 2nd or 3rd with the Barrie Colts, depending on how it shakes out. And on the other side, London tied with Windsor on points on the top of the West, and they still have 2 games against each other to finish the season out. These are huge points. Also to mention, London currently on a 9-game road trip. This is the 8th game. They finish it off Wednesday in Guelph. they are currently kind of struggling. They're 3-3-1 in that time, so they haven't had the greatest road trip. That's because of the curling that's happening right now in London, but they got them a little bit on their heels. They haven't been home in quite a while, and it's a great time for the Battalion, who are on a hot streak, to take advantage of kind of a beat-up London team.
And that takes us right to our players to watch now, as they are brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
Tonight we're looking at two defensemen, both wear number 24 for their respective teams. Logan Mailloux, a draft pick of the Montreal Canadiens for the London Knights, and Ty Nelson, a draft pick of the Seattle Kraken for the North Bay Battalion. Let's start with the Knights player, Logan Mailloux.
Well, we talked about Mailloux, and we said he is right now tied for the lead with defense in goals, and he has 23. You know who's right behind him? Ty Nelson, who has 22. So they have been neck and neck in terms of goals. The difference though is that Nelson has put up so many points on the back end. He has a total of 68 points this season. Mailloux, on the other hand, only has 48. So it's Nelson double the assists. He's been a lot better. He's been such a big key on the power play. But both of these guys have amazing shots from the point. And if you've ever seen any Mailloux highlights, especially lately, especially if you are a Montreal fan, you'll notice he has a great wrist shot, and he does such a good job of scoring right in front of that blue line.
Yeah, Ty Nelson has been heating things up. Currently second in points for the defenseman, only trailing Ottawa 67's defender Pavel Minchikov, who has 23 goals along. He's one of the leaders there offensively for the 67s. But after tonight, 5 games remaining for the North Bay Battalion. All 5 teams that they play against are below them in the standings. So basically it's the Battalion that control their own destiny if they win the Central Division for their second consecutive year.
Yeah, and honestly, when it comes to Battalion, this whole season has kind of been up to them. If you look at this Battalion team, it has been such a Jekyll Hyde kind of season where they've played some absolutely amazing hockey, and they've also played some not so great hockey, and we've seen that here live in Memorial Gardens, and we've seen that on the road, and that's something that they're going to have to figure out. Look, this is a team that I don't think, yes, they want to finish second, they want to win their division, but the end of the day is it's not about what happens in the next 6 games, it's about what happens in the playoffs. And if this team doesn't get, in my opinion, if they don't at least get to a Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final, but realistically, if they don't break through what they did last year, they get to the OHL Final, they potentially get to a Memorial Cup. The kind of winning window is kind of closing a little bit when you consider this is going to be a different team next year. You probably won't have a guy like Matvei Petrov. You won't have Kyle McDonald. You won't have Avery Winslow. There's going to be a number of overagers that you're going to have to try to fit in. And then it's just, you do have at least one more year at least of Dom DeVincentis, but it's starting to close a little bit, and you want to take advantage now, and this is probably, in my opinion, probably the best team that they've had since they've come to North Bay. And I know that's kind of tough to say, knowing how good they were when they first came over from Brampton, but when you look at the depth of this team, it's not just one player, it's not just one line, it's 4 really solid lines. Even the Ethan Processions and Jacob Terrians of the world have been so good this season in the role that they've played. And when you look at, even when they miss a guy like Dallin Wakely, not playing today, unfortunately, but he's been on fire lately. He has 30 goals this season. He's up there in the pointy. They've missed Justin Ertl, who's still kind of game to game at this point. Not sure when exactly he's coming back. We thought he was coming back Wednesday. We thought he was coming back Friday. We thought he was coming back today, and he's still not in the lineup. But despite that, the great thing that we see is that this has so much depth in this lineup, it just doesn't matter.
And while we're on the subject of who's not in the lineup tonight, already mentioned Dallin Wakely. We talked about Justin Ertel, also out of the lineup. Also getting injured last time on home ice, Luke Brusowski, who our player to watch was on Thursday, left the game in the second period with a lower body injury, along with the regular Tanias Mathern and Braden Turley out of the lineup for the North Bay Battalion. And what that means is that top line, we're going to see Petrov, Jackson, and Romani on that top line, and then Bloom, Zito, and McDonald. And the third line will be Van Steensel, Arnsby, and Tarasevich, and we're going to see Brett Bouchard back in the lineup on that fourth line.
Yeah, and as you said, a little bit of a different lineup, especially in the last, again, since the last time I did a game, it's definitely a lot different. So Ryan Ouellet has not been afraid to shake things up, especially after that kind of really tough road trip. And it's going to be interesting to see a guy like Matvei Petrov working on that top line with Jackson. Romani has had a couple of great goals in his last few games. Petrov did have an 8-game point streak snapped in that game against Oshawa, but he did have 3 goals, 12 assists. So, and Kyle Jackson was another guy who's been heating up. He's on a point streak as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And how about Kyle McDonald? First of all, congratulations as he gets signed by the Dallas Stars to an entry-level deal. And by the way, McDonald, 2 goals in their last game after signing that deal, and 5-game point streak right now with 4 goals, 2 assists. He's been on absolute fire this season.
Yeah, Kyle McDonald, 30 goals on the season, and I think that's only 37 games played for Kyle McDonald, 39, yes, signing that deal on Friday with the Dallas Stars, 3-year entry level. That now gives the North Bay Battalion 10 guys with an NHL team beside their name, whether they're signed or a draft pick of London 6. So 16 future possible NHLers in the lineup tonight on this ice.
Which was next to when they played Windsor when there was 18. There's 16. That's an insane amount. And McDonald now joining, of course, Justin Ertl, who's also a Dallas signee, as they now have 2 representatives from Dallas, just like they do from Seattle. So that's pretty cool. In fact, 3 Seattle guys is Ryan Winkerton, another guy who's on the Kraken lineup. But as you said, here's another guy to keep your eye on as we're going to kind of jump around here to the goaltending situation is Brad Brochu, as he's a guy who, my goodness, won OHL goaltender of the year last year, has very similar numbers this year, is .01 goals against average higher at 2.76 versus 2.75 last season in 43 games. And he's a guy who's still unsigned, but you got to think that changes, I think, in this offseason.
I think so too, and what a goaltending matchup we have tonight. Brett Brochu, the reigning OHL goaltender of the year, going against probably the front runner for goaltender of the year this year, Dob DiVincentis. Let's start with Brochu and his numbers. He's coming in with a 26-14-2 extended record, a .276 goals against average, and a .905 save percentage. He carries the workload for the London Knights. He did so last year and doing exactly the same this year.
Yeah, and he's just shown like how good. And again, we talk about London being such a great such a great team. And the thing too we gotta mention is not just how good he's been, but his backup. And this was something we were talking about off the air. But if you look at his backup in Zach Bowen, in 23 games, he's 16-3 with a .294 goals against average and a .904 save percentage. Goaltending is such a key for the London Knights, and they're getting it from both their goaltenders this season. It's they're going to be, we don't know if it's going to be Windsor or London or whoever in the OHL finals, but if the Battalion get there, one thing we know for sure, if they're facing London, that's going to be one heck of a matchup between the pipes as we're going to have here tonight.
And then looking at the North Bay Battalion, Dob DiVincentis giving up 1 goal Thursday night in that victory over the Owen Sound Attack. He comes in with a 33-9-2 extended record, a .242 goals against average, and a .917 save percentage. All those numbers are at the top of the OHL goaltending stats.
Yeah, and he's just been absolutely phenomenal the entire season, to a point when Charlie Robertson was kind of scuffling. Houlihan really leaned on DiVincentis. We saw him play we saw him play at home last month against Sudbury, after he played just the day before as well. So he's been lent on a little bit more. With Robertson having 2 good bounce-back games, that might change as they still have another back-to-back to end the season off in the final weekend against Niagara and Mississauga. But the thing with Dom DiVincentis, though, he also picked up in the last 4 games, the goaltending combined has only given up 1 goal for the Battalion, which is absolutely insane. And now, in those 4 games with 3 shutouts, have now doubled their shutout total for this whole season, as they now have 6 on the year, which is 1 away from the regular season record set back in 14-15 by Jake Smith, Evan Cormier, and Jake Clement. So if they've got 6 more games to get 1 more shutout, maybe 2, and potentially could break that record.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see how things go down the stretch with their goaltending situation. As you know for sure, the North Bay Battalion will be looking to clinch their 2nd consecutive Central Division title. And what that's going to mean is if they get to the 2nd round, having home ice advantage, especially if you play the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, and that's going to be and again, we go back to the playoffs, and the playoffs are going to be a very, very interesting situation, because it's a little scary when you think about how kind of Jekyll and Hyde that this team has kind of been. lately in the season, as we don't know what we're going to get potentially in that playoff. But either way, I do expect this to be a very interesting playoff series. But right now, you got to take care of business in the regular season. You got to secure that second spot. Hopefully, you're playing a team like Sudbury, who we've had a lot of success against. Plus, it would be one heck of a rivalry. And travel obviously is very easy for both teams. But with that bottom of the bottom of that division still kind of up for grabs, that's 8, 7, 6 spot, it's going to be very interesting to see how this shakes out in the next 2 weeks or so.
These two teams did play once previous this year back on October 28th, and it was the Battalion getting a 4-3 victory that night, and it was DiVincentis picking up the win. In goal for the North Bay Battalion, Bowen with the loss for the London Knights that night, but both teams have made some adjustments, and both of them totally different teams since what they've seen each other back in October.
Yeah, and the one thing that was interesting in that October game, Kyle McDonald picking up a goal, that was, again, one of those things that you can't even say that McDonald hasn't played against this team before, because that was one of the big things that they were missing for a lot of the year that some of these teams haven't seen lately. So, yeah, as you said, it's going to be a bit of a different feel, but I don't think it's going to be an immensely different feel. I expect a very similar style game. It's going to be tight. It's going to probably be a 1 or 2 goal game, and expect kind of something that's relatively low scoring. Now that I say that, it's going to end up being like a 7-6 game or something, but expect a low-scoring game that's tight, that's going to go down to the buzzer here. It's going to be a very solid 60 minutes, but this is what I've been saying all season long, is how do they start this game? How do the Battalion do in that first 20 minutes? And we've seen them struggle in that first half of that game, and it's going to be very interesting. They've got to come out firing, and they have to come out because you know that London's going to come out the same way, and if you give up an early lead, it's not going to be a good start for the Battalion.
And that's what we've seen out of this 5-game winning streak, is a solid 60-minute effort, and especially getting off to a solid start, trying to take the pace of the game to the opposition, something that they'll have to do tonight against the London Knights. As you know what, London used to playing in front of a sold-out group at the Budweiser Gardens. Yep. It looks pretty solid in here. A good crowd already on hand for this Sunday afternoon game. How much do you think this fan base can help propel the North Bay Battalion this afternoon?
I think that's a big part of it. Now, walking into the rink today, I saw a lot of London Knight jerseys and stuff, so I don't know how many are going to be for either side. This could be a very even game in terms of how many Battalion versus London Knight fans there are potentially, but one of the things when this team came over was always the seventh man, right? It was always the crowd getting things into it, and I expect there to be a very loud crowd this afternoon. Probably the most exciting game that they played since that Windsor game here at home, and I expect this to be a little bit more crazy because again, London a little bit closer than Windsor, but it's still a good 6-hour plus drive. But I imagine there's probably some affiliation there, and it should be a great game this afternoon.
Yeah, a good fan base following the London Knights around. And I know out in the community and amongst the media, a lot of people have had this game circled on their calendar for some time and wanted to get that information from Ryan Ulan, who did not want to talk about this game until it became right next door on the calendar. It's game day now. How do you prepare your team to come out against that London Knights?
So I think the big thing, if I'm London, what I do is I'm very aggressive when the Battalion have the puck in their own zone. We've seen this where teams get very aggressive. They have an aggressive forecheck, and what happens is the Battalion kind of sputter around a little bit with the puck. They make mistakes. They give up good opportunities. But more importantly, they kind of break down their own neutral zone game. It's very important for the Battalion not to allow themselves. They've got to move the puck quickly in their own zone. They've got to demand the pace, and more importantly, they need crisp passing up the neutral zone. That is going to be the big key. How's their transition game? Are they getting caught in kind of their own end of the red line? That's the stuff. I think that's going to be the difference maker in this hockey game.
Okay, one more question for you, Ben. Battalion starting line of Van Siensel, Arnsby, and Tarasevich. How do they come out and set the tone?
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see who Land's going to throw out there at the beginning, because we might see that line starting things off.
They are starting. I've already got that.
Oh, look at that. You got all the
That's why I'm asking you.
Oh,
what are they going to do to set the tone?
Okay, well, you blindsided me there. I think Arnsby's going to be throwing the body around. He's going to be getting into the corners. On the other side, imagine Tarasevich using his speed to get into those corners and getting some pucks out in front of the net. But I expect a very more aggressive kind of throwing the body around first opening shift.
Well, there you go. We're all set up here, Ben. Always great having you on the broadcast.
Always great.
When we come back, Courtney Kenny will join you with all of our first period action here as it's Knights Battalion on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Glorious and free, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, we welcome you inside Memorial Gardens for what should be an amazing Sunday afternoon tilt between the London Knights and the North Bay Battalion. I'm Ben Sargent alongside with me, Courtney Kenny. And Courtney, it's going to be a good game, and what a goaltending matchup here between these two teams.
Yeah, Dom DiVincentis getting the start. A surprise, surprise for the North Bay Battalion. Yeah. Brett Brochu in net, who's been just as good for the London Knights this year. Actually, their numbers real quick. DiVincentis 33-9-2 with a 2.42 goals against average and a league-leading save percentage at .917. He also leads in goals against. Whereas Brochu's 26-14-2 with a 2.76 goals against average and a .905 save percentage. So, not numbers that are Dom DiVincentis-like, but he's still been solid in net for the London Knights, and a big reason why they are where they are in their standings.
Yeah, very similar numbers to what they did, what he did last year when he won OHL goaltender of the year, though he's played one less game, only 42 games in that. But on the other side, if that's what it took to win goaltender of the year last year, you know that DiVincentis is on the fast track to potentially claim that this year. It's hard to find a goaltender who's been better in net this year than DiVincentis.
DiVincentis has accounted for 33 of the Battalion's 42 wins on the season, which is absolutely remarkable. Charlie Robertson coming on stronger as of late as we get ready here with Van Steensel coming in for the face-off, and we are officially underway as we welcome the London Knights to North Bay. The Knights in their road whites are going left to right to start this first period, and the troops in their road greens are going right to left, with Winterton, the former Hamilton Bulldog, getting a run by Liam Arnsby there in his own zone, and we're back into London's zone with McGurn. McGurn goes cross ice, that's to George. George throws the puck up the ice, but is stopped by Christopoulos. These two teams met earlier this year, as now Montreal Canadiens and much maligned prospect Logan Mailloux touches the puck. We'll talk about him, I'm sure, as the game goes on. Hislop now behind his net, flips the puck up to Van Steensel. Van Steensel into the middle of the ice for Arnsby. Arnsby tips it up to the newest Dallas Star prospect, Kyle McDonald, who takes a shot, and that one's off George's shin pad. Puck thrown out front to Bloom. Bloom with the shot, Brochu with the save, and it's kicked into the corner. Christopoulos in deep for Zito. Zito goes to play the cycle game, waiting to find out where to put the puck, sends it back in for McDonald. He wins the puck from George, tries to send the no-look feed back, but is out front to McGurn, who just flips it down the ice and goes for a change. Lucan in his own zone, over to McDonald, quickly to Nelson. Up the ice, Bloom got a piece of that and sent that into the Knights zone. Brochu caught a piece of it, but not enough to keep it from out of the corner. To the blue line, Lucan tried to stop it, but now it's down to the Battalion zone. Icing waved off as Lucan tried to swipe at it. Now Lucan with it behind his net. Plays the puck. Looking for options as he slows things down. Gives it to Nelson on the far side. Nelson in his own zone up to Zito in the neutral zone. Zito gains the red line. Throws the puck in. Bloom goes after it. And now the puck's behind Brochu's net. Bounces on the back of the net. Romani out there now as well. Jackson battling for the puck. Tried to get it back to Romani. And now it goes all the way around for Winslow, the former Knight. And now the puck is on the near side wall as Winslow falls over. Romani got to prime shooting position, but his shot was blocked by McKinnon. Cross ice to Winslow in his own zone. Winslow flips the puck up the ice, and now Petrov has it, one of the leading scorers here in the OHL, as they can't keep the zone for very long. Now it's Winslow in the neutral zone. Up to Brochu. Winslow in likely his last meeting against his former team here before, as he's the overager, unless they meet in the finals. Crane through into the Battalion zone, throws it on net. DiVincentis with the quick glove save. Looking much like a former London Knight goalie in net, Adam Dennis.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we were talking about in the pregame show right before we went to the commercial break. As what was very interesting is Derek's like, what's this opening line going to do with Arnsby? And exactly what they had to do, which was come out aggressive. They've set the tone here early on. Only one shot on net, but they've kind of dominated the first 2.5 minutes of this hockey game. They've got to keep that going as this game continues, and that's going to be a big key for the Battalion.
Edward tries to get the puck up ice. Bloom stops it. Now he gains the zone. Josh Bloom, no stranger to London, first time in Saginaw. Gets it back to Winslow. Winslow looks out front, tipped on net by McDonald, and that was turned aside by Brochu. McDonald throws his man into the corner, and Zito comes in for some help, but it's going to be London that comes away with it. Out to the point, Winslow stops it. Shovels the puck back in for Zito, rolls past his stick, and it's in for Bloom. Bloom tried to find Zito again, and it's over his stick again. So Winslow pinching, tried to keep it in, but couldn't. Bloom rather, got it in the neutral zone, but then quickly gave it away before getting it back on a good back check. Into the Battalion zone now. That's Julian with it. Battling for it. Has the puck now into the... So we get some technical difficulties there on the PA system here at North Bay. Now it's Bloom. Goes cross ice. Into the Battalion zone. Kennedy off his skate. Tries to grab the puck. Can't get it past his man, though. That's Dickinson, the former Niagara Ice Dogs first-round pick. Dickinson out front. Look for his man. Now it's shot on net, blocked in front. And now Bloom has the puck into the neutral zone. Loses the handle on it, though, and quickly London goes back into the troop zone. McGurn flips the puck back out, though, as the Battalion got possession of it. And now it's Mayu over to George. George up the ice quickly. Whacking at it was Levin, the former Powassan Voodoo. Now the puck out into the Knights zone, but now it's up ice for Levin. Levin, the brother of former Sudbury Wolf David Levin, applied his trade with the Voodoos last season. Was almost a goal-a-game player in the NOJHL. Battling for the puck in the corner. And past Levin to Tarasevich. Tarasevich also played some games against London last year when the East and West did not play against each other, as that's going to go for icing, although that's going to be a call that the Battalion fans didn't like, and neither did Nelson.
Yeah, he waved it off originally and then went icing, so they're going to bring the faceoff back to the center ice as that was on the linesman there as he initially, again, waved it off. But, yeah, now it's kind of getting interesting because London kind of coming back with a little bit of their own fight here. But, again, how did the Battalion play defensively? And so far they're doing a good job of blocking shots and not giving up too many good opportunities.
Now that'll go for icing against London. That one definitely looked like icing for sure. And that's going to be interesting to see as this game goes on. These two teams did meet back in the fall in London, and the Battalion came away with the victory in that one, although London had basically a 6-on-3 for the final minute with the amount of penalties the Battalion had taken, but they were able to hold on. But these two teams are very close in the standings in the overall league. The Battalion have a 1-point edge, but London has played one less game.
London, of course, tied with Windsor right now on top of that West, and they play each other twice more before the end of the year, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Bonk to the former Bulldog Winterton. Shot on net, kicked away by Divinchentis. Hislop. Yeah, and Windsor really beefed up at the deadline, too, getting Shane Wright and a few other moves as well. Hislop tries to flip the puck in. That one's touched by Arnsby, so no icing. Bonk with it now. Son of former NHLer Radek Bonk. I'm sure Ottawa Senators fans are fond of that name. As the puck is flipped back in. Montreal Canadian fans, probably not so much.
Not too much.
On the far side wall now. Battling for it. The Battalion try to get it out of their zone, and they do, but they can't get possession of it. As it's thrown back to the Knights zone. Diaco, another former Bulldog, throws it in for Winterton to go after. Last time these guys were on Memorial Gardens ice, they were hoisting the Bobby Orr Trophy in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Romani over to Hislop. Hislop quickly up ice looking for Petrov. He was almost home free, but couldn't get it to go. Jackson now tries to flip the puck back in, but Romani now battling on the near side wall in the neutral zone. Jackson flips it out for Winslow. Over to Nelson. Nelson quickly up ice for Romani. Romani into the zone. Cross ice now. All in alone. What a save there by Brochu. As that was Jackson with the attempt all alone in on the netminder. And Brochu turned that one aside. Winslow in his own zone. So first grade A scoring chance going to the Battalion as now the fans react to a hit late on Winslow. Nelson bats the puck back down and now coming in again. In alone! And the Battalion make it 1-0. Anthony Romani with the opening goal here in North Bay.
Well, how good has Anthony Romani been lately? And he's now playing on that top line with Petrov and Jackson. And this is a play that's kind of a mistake from the London Knights. It's kind of weird bounce, and Romani in transition picks the puck up on the far side and makes a beautiful move to dance around Brochu to put the puck in the back of the net. And man, Romani is really coming into his own this season, and especially in the second half of this season, he feels so much more comfortable on the ice. And what a great start for the Battalion. Almost 6.5 minutes into this hockey game, they take an early lead, and this is probably not going to be a high-scoring game, so every goal is going to be such a big premium.
As now the Battalion back on the count, that's Kyle McDonald in for Bloom. Backhand chance, misses the net. That is Romani's 20th of the season as well. And as you mentioned, back half of the season for Romani. Last year he had a good back half, scoring 8 goals. There's only 8 goals in the year. This year he's looked good all year long, but he's taken his game to another level here in the back half this season.
Yeah, him and Wakely have really stepped it up this season.
Bloom now on 2-on-1 with Zito. Leaves it for McDonald. McDonald with a shot! We're loving it as Kyle McDonald, Big Mac, pots a goal here. It's quickly 2-0.
A very tough start for Brochu, and not his fault on either of these goals, by the way. That was a snipe right on the glove side of Brett Brochu. And McDonald, who has a goal in that other game, in that earlier game against London, snipes one home. And right now, the defense for the Knights is not looking solid. We talked about how they're on the 8th game of a 9-game road trip. They did not come out firing, and now all of a sudden, with 28 seconds after they get their first goal, McDonald makes it a nice 2-0 lead, and gotta love the start if you're Ryan Ulan.
Kyle McDonald has taken the lead over the not playing Dallin Wakely with his 31st goal of the season. Kyle McDonald, imagine if he had played a full season of hockey this year as a Go Troops Go chant erupts here at Memorial Gardens, and probably one of the biggest crowds we've seen all year. Zito to Bloom, back for McDonald. Turns out the secret to getting value in butts and seats is bring the Knights in for 68 games a year.
There you go.
As now Humphrey up the ice, tries to go cross ice. That's blocked by Kennedy. Now Lucan with it.
If you got the Knights in, if they play the way they have in the first 7 minutes, I don't think the Battalion will mind too much.
No. Now, of course, this still is a very dangerous team, as you said. Tied in points right now with Windsor in the West. We saw Windsor here back in January. The Battalion took that game. Hislop, cross ice for Christopoulos. Christopoulos lost the handle on it, and now moving in alone with a backhanded chance was Diaco. Diaco, one of those unsung heroes last year for the Bulldogs.
Well, it looked like there Christopoulos was making sure that the change was complete before he touched the puck, but either way, almost got himself into trouble there.
Stick was knocked out of his hand. Divinchentis plays the puck. Went right out of bounds, though, although they're saying that it was deflected before it went over the glass, so no penalty coming for the troops.
Well, talk about Kyle McDonald. He comes into this game on a 5-game point streak with 4 goals and 2 assists now. With that goal, extends it to 6 games and 5 goals in that time. And if there's anybody who can score goals, it's Kyle McDonald, as we've seen it. He's not much of an assist guy, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see him play maybe in the AHL next year, maybe getting some reps with the Dallas Stars as he joins teammate Justin Ertl as a Dallas Star.
Ertl looking to come back hopefully soon, potentially next week. Tarasevic cross ice to Van Steensel. Van Steensel looking for Tarasevic, but Tarasevic was just a hair early and went offside. Now we see some rough stuff after the whistle as there was a late hit on Van Steensel.
I think Tarasevic is going off for this one.
We'll have to see what happens. There is it looks like one night's going at least.
I would be shocked if Tarasevic, maybe not, because he kind of came in with a pretty hard hit after the fact, but it looks like it's
Leonard.
Yeah, Leonard for the Knights, and I guess this is going to be a power play for the Battalion, as they must have let Tarasevic go off for the retaliation. But here we go, the Battalion coming in with the 7th-ranked power play. Their power play is going up, 27.8%, 52 for 228 chances. And now a chance to take an early 3-0 lead, which nothing's a given in this hockey game, but if you can get a 3-0 lead in the first 10 minutes of this game, that'd be a great start.
Petrov keeps the puck in. Goes cross ice to Nelson. Nelson takes the shot. Brochu with the blocker save. Knocks that one into the corner. Nelson picks it back up. Back to Petrov at the point. Cross ice now for Jackson. Jackson looking for his options. Goes back to the point for Petrov. Petrov to Nelson. Unleashes a shot and can't get it to go. Another chance by Jackson. Stopped by Brochu. And then the rebound comes out. And now London goes on the attack. Although 2-on-2, they just see the numbers game and flip it in. And that'll be the Battalion who pick up the slack in their own zone. For the record, the Knights have the 6th-ranked penalty kill at 79.8% coming into this game. So roughly evenly matched when it comes to league standings, when it comes to power play and penalty kill. Although the Battalion got a pretty good penalty kill compared to the Knights. Romani flips the puck back to Petrov. Petrov in for Jackson. Jackson back to the point for Petrov. Quickly over to Nelson. Takes the shot. And that one was off McGurn's stick and deflected over the net. Flip back out. Petrov tries to keep it in. Now he can't. Now the Knights have a 2-on-1 developing. Quickly over to McGurn. McGurn waits it out. Goes cross ice. A good stick by Romani. Keeps that one from getting the net. DiVincentis would have been helpless on that one as McGurn just waited out Nelson and got the puck around him. And oh my goodness, the Knights had a wide open cage. Romani scores goals, he stops goals apparently.
He's a +2, but not on the score sheet. But yeah, unfortunately for Petrov, he tries to pinch in there and he leaves Nelson all alone, and it gives the Knights a great opportunity to cut this lead in half.
Nelson played that perfectly too, if he could, on the defensive end. It was just a good stop there by McGurn to wait. McDonald into the zone, goes offside. We have 11 seconds remaining on the Battalion power play. It's 2-0 as well for the troops. Shots on goal 5-1 with 9:44 left in this first period.
Yeah, and you know Ty Nelson would love to get a goal here to tie himself for a 3-way tie, including with Logan Mayu on top of that goal leader for defensemen.
And Minchikov too, right?
And Minchikov, yeah. And the thing with Ty Nelson, though, so far 2 games that he hasn't recorded a point, so he'd like to get back into the point category here this afternoon.
Not very often you see that from the defender, who is, when you think of Mayu and Minchikov. Nelson, I believe, well, Minchikov is the same age as Nelson, but same age, or Mayu is a year older. So interesting to say there. As Bloom throws the puck up ice to Zito. Zito flips the puck in around the end boards. Brochu out to play it behind his net. 9 minutes remaining here in this first period. Troops with a 2-0 lead. As the Knights now having struggles getting out of their own zone, but they get it up quickly to Bonk. Bonk gains the zone, throws the puck on net. DiVincentis kicks that one aside. And now Zito, who would have seen a lot of these Knights last year playing for Windsor, loses the puck on the far side. London with another chance. That was a shot on goal by Gazizov. And we'll take a mid-period break here. So we'll be back on the other side of this with Derek Lindemann on the front line.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni First. Get information on special events and news or access the alumni job portal. Visit CanadaCollege.ca/perk for more information.
And we welcome you back to the Frontline Game Day broadcast here at North Bay Memorial Gardens. The Battalion have a 2-0 lead here in the first period, and Derek is between the benches for all of the action. Derek, what's going on? The Battalion with 2 quick goals. How does that sound down between the benches?
It sounds pretty good. You can just see the life on the North Bay Battalion bench on every play. The last time there down the ice, Kennedy broke up that 4-on-1, and you could see Petrov jumping up with joy. And it felt like a heavyweight fight to start this game. Both teams were trying to feel each other out, and it was the Battalion that made a couple of quick adjustments and were able to capitalize on goals off of those opportunities. And they're just not letting off the gas. They're keeping the pressure on and wanting to have the London Knights in on their half the ice, Courtney.
All right, Derek, I got to ask you one more question. Romani there with the stop. He scores a goal. Then he stops the 2-on-1 there with DiVincentis out of his net as he had to play the original the passer. Any word, did you hear anything about Anthony Romani down there between the benches?
Other than how exciting it is to see this kid play hockey, and just he's got hands that just make him wait, and the patience he showed on that goal, unbelievable.
Do we have any revelations or predictions by Tom Martineau down there as well?
He's calling out Winslow tonight in this game, so Winslow and Petrov are his guys to watch.
All right, thanks so much, Derek. We'll hear from you as the period goes, or as the game goes on. Winslow and Petrov, we'll have to keep an eye out on that one. I asked Tom after the last game, how do you fit your ego in between the benches?
It's tough, like between him and Derek, and now there's another guy down there too.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of room left.
No, there isn't. Kennedy behind his net. 8 minutes remaining here in the period. 2-0 Battalion lead. Kennedy throws the puck up ice, looking for a procession. And Brochu gets to it first and flips the puck out. Now Romani at the blue line. Tripped up, no call coming, as there's a fan down at the blue line looking for it. Rather emphatically, actually.
Yeah, up here it looked pretty clean, though. It looked like he just went right at the stick and he ended up tripping over it, but...
Lukin.
Oh, there's a good...
Yeah, there's one right there. But no call coming on that one. Now Petrov, one of Tom Martineau's players to watch. We'll have to sell that as a segment to Romani. Flips the puck in, can't get that one on net. Now the Knights with possession through the neutral zone. That's Crane. Goes cross ice. Gazazov. And now it's Jackson with the puck. Jackson. Back up to Petrov. Back to Jackson. Jackson takes the shot. Brochu with the save. And a few years ago, the Knights had a bit of a darker color. You look at the 05 Knights that went on to win the Memorial Cup with Adam Dennis, and you look at, the Mitch Marner-led Knights in the early 2010s, and they had that darker green look, and then they went back kind of a few years ago, they rebranded to their old school colors. Those jerseys are so crisp.
The new ones?
These ones here, like the old school ones?
Yeah, kind of like, they almost went from like a Dallas Stars to like almost like a Hartford Whalers kind of like lighter green.
Oh, it's just so good looking.
It looks very old. It looks very like early 2000s, 90s kind of jersey.
I just love it, though. And the numbers have a bit of a shine to them. As now the puck out front for Van Steensel takes the shot. And that one's turned aside by Brochu. And now the puck behind the net again for Mayu. Mayu up the ice quickly. And that was given to Winterton. Winterton goes cross ice, and the puck is out of play. So we'll get another stoppage here as Van Steensel with a great opportunity there. As that energy line here for the Battalion, getting a lot of looks here early.
Yeah, and one more thing about the jerseys, though. As good as the Knights jerseys are, they're still not as good as the white Centurion ones. Those ones are
the black ones.
No,
you got to go for the black ones.
But as you said, that Van Steensel, Ormsby, and Tarasevich line, we talked about, you said the energy line, they're bringing that aggressiveness as Zito gives a little shot there to McHugh, and it's interesting with that line, and they did exactly what they needed to do at the first shift of the period, and I honestly do think that was the shift that really set the tone for the Battalion.
Nelson flips the puck in behind the net, looking for the bounce off the end boards. Comes to Bloom, gets it back to Winslow at the point. Cross ice for Nelson. Nelson back in for Bloom. Bloom flips it back for Winslow, though. Winslow looking at the net, takes the shot, stopped on the rebound. McDonald had the puck on the rebound and couldn't get it to convert. And now it's into the corner with the Knights with possession. London out of their zone. Levin can't get a clean look at it as he flips the puck down. Bloom takes a shot at him, and it's back to Zito. Zito to McHugh. McHugh flips it back in. McHugh throws it in. DiVincentis out to play it. Stops the puck behind his net. Gets it over to Winslow quickly. Winslow through the neutral zone. Flips the puck into the Knights zone. Brochu tries to stop it up with his stick. And now Mayu, or rather, That's Leonard, who took the penalty earlier this period. Flips it up to DiVincentis, who plays it back out in front of his net. Petrov couldn't get a handle on it. Now Bonk with it. Bonk going cross ice to Edward. The Boston Bruins pick. And now Bonk just gains the red line and throws the puck in on net. And DiVincentis turns that aside along with a second chance from the corner. To Petrov. Petrov flips the puck out. Knights kind of bogging down the neutral zone now a little bit since the mid-period break. And now throwing it in was Cowan. Cowan cross ice to Gazazov. Gazazov couldn't get a good clean look at it though, however, and now Petrov flips the puck back out of his zone, but the Knights have possession once again. Back over to Petrov. He loses it to Bonk. Bonk back in his zone to Edward. Edward flips the puck down the ice. And now it's Cowan with it. Just under 5 minutes here in this first period. Gazazov gains the zone. Gazazov can't get anything to go as the Battalion have done a very good job of keeping the Knights to the perimeter here in this period. Edward tries a shot. It's blocked by Christopoulos. And now on the far side half wall, it's Cowan battling with it as Romani gets to the puck and flips it out of the zone. Goes for a quick change as he takes a bit of a whack at Federkow. And basically those two are exchanging pleasantries all the way to the bench. Christopoulos out down the ice. Van Steensel got a handle on it, so no icing called there. As now it's out front looking for Tarasevic. Couldn't get that shot off. Now it's Hislop looking for Van Steensel. Back to Christopoulos. Christopoulos flips the puck in. Didn't get to Tarasevic though, as now it's behind the Knights net and bogged down by a scrum. Out to Winterton. Winterton looking to flip the puck out. Couldn't get it to go, and now Van Steensel with it, takes the shot. Brochu with a quick glove save there after it came off his chest. Had to react quickly there. There would have been a juicy rebound right in front of his crease.
Well, you talk about Max McHugh, and he made a really nice save on, he got a stick in the way of McDonald, who almost got a second of the game if McHugh wasn't there. He dumped the puck in, and then he ended up actually leaving the game as he kind of hobbled to the bench, and now he's in the Knights dressing room, so we'll have to keep an eye on him to see if he comes back. But he's the centerman in that second line with Gazazov and Cowan, so it'll be interesting to see if he comes back in the second period or not. We'll have to keep our eye on him.
Puck back to the blue line, flipped in for Nelson. Bonk gets to it. We'll also have to see if Van Steensel has a big game, because as you know, when we talk to him on the podcast, he's from the London area.
Yep.
Knights with possession, flips it up for Crane. Crane can't get it to go very far, and now Bonk just carries the puck and throws it out front. And that was Julian who couldn't get the rebound on that one, and now a read pass up for Bloom. Bloom in alone, takes a shot, stopped by Brochu. Bloom didn't have the greatest of angles coming in, and now it's stopped by Bloom again. The former Saginaw captain takes another shot, blocker to side by Brochu. That's 2 times here on this shift that Brochu got the better of the former Spirit captain. Bit of a slew foot there by McDonald, and we'll see if that gets called, which it is. So it looks like the Battalion going to a penalty here as the entire Knights bench erupted as soon as McDonald knocked down his guy right in front of the net, in front of the bench.
Both referees were all over that as they get him to go. And I think Bloom would love to have that breakaway back one more time, as his shot wasn't the best one. It goes right into the body of Brochu, and I think he would have loved to at least have gotten a little bit more towards the center of the ice. But again, we see London making some major mistakes in their own zone and in the neutral zone that are giving the Battalion a lot of really good opportunities. And despite there only being 10-4 the shots, it definitely feels like the Battalion have put more on Brochu.
Mayu goes cross ice. That's to Diaco. Now it's back to George. Back to Mayu with a quick shot. That's blocked there by Christopoulos, and he chases after him. Mayu into the neutral zone. Flips the puck back to George. George to Winterton. Winterton flips the puck in deep. Clipping is the penalty on McDonald, which makes sense.
Don't hear that too often,
No. George knocked to the ice by Lucan. Winterton throws it in for Diaco. Or McGurn. McGurn now tries to carry the puck out. Now it's to Diaco. Diaco cross ice quickly, blocked there by Arnsby. That was George with a chance. Another chance for Diaco. Blocked again. Another chance coming from the slump from Winterton. And that's stopped by DiVincentis, and a good priming chance now to tell you about the Knights, who are 21.2% on the power play. That's 12th in the league, and the Battalion with an 87% penalty kill. Good for still number 1 in the league.
And one of the things that the Battalion have done well on this penalty kill, but also in this period, is keeping a lot of traffic out of the high slot area. Now, there have been a couple of opportunities the Knights have had getting the puck through and on the side of the net that either was a good defensive play by the Battalion or they just couldn't get the shot away. But so far, they're boxing them out of that high slot area, and that's been a very big key for them in this first period of this game.
Edward to Gazazov. Gazazov shot stopped by Divinchentis. Now another chance for Gazazov. In tight. Back out to the point. Edward couldn't get a clean shot away. Less than a minute on this power play to Gazazov. Looked for the fake shot. Nelson was there, so a good tip there. And now it's Nelson who just flips the puck down the ice with 40 seconds remaining. Edward to pick up the puck from Brochu. Edward with it. Slowly through his zone. Gains the neutral zone. Flips it up for McHugh. Over to Bonk. They can't get anything to go as McHugh looks skyward after his pass back to Bonk. 20 seconds remaining on this power play. The Knights have had some good looks, but the Battalion standing tall so far. Edward. Gazazov. Gazazov back to Edward. Edward flips the puck on net. Misses. As now it's down to 10 seconds. Jackson gets to it. Flips it down the ice, so that'll all but kill this penalty with 1:10 remaining here in this first period. The Battalion lead 2-0. Behind his net is Edward as we're back to 5-on-5. Jackson giving him some pressure, but just letting Edward kind of set up. Edward flips the puck down to Christopoulos as we're into the final minute now. Jackson flips the puck as the red line, loses it though. Now it's back to Jackson. Jackson over to Petrov. Petrov skates around the net, leaves it for Jackson. Jackson with another chance, can't get that one in. And now it's McDonald. McHugh flips the puck down the ice, and that one's going to bounce over Christopoulos' stick, and that one's going to go for icing as well. So with 32.9 seconds, the Battalion are going to get an offensive zone draw here.
Well, if you're Ryan Houlihan, you got to be pretty happy with this first period. We've talked lately in this 5-game win streak that it's been a good 60-minute effort from the Battalion, which is something they haven't had in the last couple of months, where they've kind of given maybe a 30-minute effort or a 40-minute effort. And yeah, you got to be really happy. You're up 2-0. Yeah, London had some opportunities, but I think overall you played a very solid defensive game, and you kind of, for the most part, have been in charge of the pace of this game.
Puck flipped out of the Knights zone and right onto the Jumbotron as, unlike Budweiser Garden in London, our Jumbotron hangs down a little bit lower as we don't have that second bowl here at the Gardens.
No, but if we keep playing London, we might need to invest in one, as there's probably the best turnout that we've seen maybe all year.
Jackson in for the draw with Romani and Petrov in the offensive zone to the far side of the broadcast. Romani tried to get to it, and now it's flipped out successfully by London, but not too far as Nelson just flips that one back in. With the puck, that's Dickinson. Dickinson, one of those players jettisoned from the Ice Dogs as he was a first-round pick in 2022. Now it's to Petrov. Hislop as well. Leaves it for Winterton. Winterton with some time took the shot, and that one.
Looks like there's going to be a penalty here right at the end, as I think this is going to the Battalion. I think this is going to Romani maybe? Looks like a roughing call, but
yeah.
We'll have to see how this shakes up. But there definitely was a penalty, and I want to say it was against the Battalion there, and it looks like at least Petrov is talking to the referee.
Well, we'll have to sort this out here during the intermission for sure. But as it stands right now, after 20 minutes of play, the Battalion are up 2-0, and they also have 11-8 shots. So we're going to take a quick break here on the front line. We'll go to our intermission show, which will feature Derek Lindemann and Ben Sargent. And I'm Courtney Kenny. As always, keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canador's alumni office. Visit canadorcollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, and keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we're back inside Memorial Gardens here for the first intermission as the Battalion strike twice in the first 20 minutes to take a 2-0 lead. Let's take a look at the scoring summary in the first period. Anthony Romani getting things started for the Battalion at 6:28, his 20th of the season. And then Kyle McDonald with his 31st of the season at 6:56 extended that lead, and that was all of the scoring in the first period. Bloom and Nelson picking up the assist in on that goal by McDonald. Couple penalties to report in that first period. First, Alec Leonard went off for roughing at 8:27. Kyle McDonald went off for clipping at 16:52, and just at the end of the period, Braden Hislop gets called for roughing. So the Knights will start the second period with a full 2-minute penalty power play. Neither team capitalized with the man advantage there in the first period. Shots on goal in the first. It was the home side outshooting the visitors by 11-8 in the shots on goal. 2 other games currently going on in the OHL this afternoon. First off, in Hamilton, it's the Bulldogs leading the Ottawa 67s by a score 2-1. In Sarnia, after 1, it's the Sting with a 3-1 lead over the Kitchener Rangers. And later tonight, the Flint Firebirds are in Oshawa to take on the Generals. That's a 6:05 start. Regular home game for the Oshawa Generals on Sunday night. Well, Ben, quite an interesting first period. We kind of thought that's how the game would start. We wanted to see Ironsby coming out hitting. 10 seconds it took him to lay that first hit.
I'm telling you, didn't I say? I was going to say this during the mid-period break, but I'm telling you, I called it. I don't know. Maybe you should promote me a little bit.
Promote you?
Maybe get a raise. I don't know, something.
Maybe we could have, let's see, predictions by Mr. Sargent. I don't know.
We can make some.
I think for that it's Ben Sargent calls the obvious.
Yeah.
For the last 3 seasons, Ryan Ullahan puts out Liam Armsby first shift to throw some bodies around.
Yeah, well, I'm very observant. But either way, as you said, yes, the thing with that top line is something that the Battalion have lacked, as we talked about, but they have done well in this last 5-game trip. We talked about this before the game, was that they don't play well in the first period. They don't play well to start the game. And what did they do here? Because there have been times where they've thrown Arnsby out there and they haven't had that kind of energy, but in this game he does exactly what he needs to do. They set the pace early. The first 3.5 minutes was all Battalion. I don't even think the Knights recorded a shot on net until after that kind of first 3.5 minute onslaught. But either way, this period was a great defensive effort by the Battalion. If you think of that kind of that slot area in front of the goaltender as a red zone, the Battalion did a great job keeping a lot of traffic outside of that. They didn't allow a lot of pucks through. Now, there were a couple of opportunities the Knights had to put the puck in the net, and they're a little lucky that they didn't. If you look at, again, a great play by Anthony Romani, but for the most part, a very good defensive effort. DiVincentis didn't have to work too hard. A lot of the shots right into his squared-up body. On the other side, though, I don't think Brochu is going to be too happy with his defense. They gave a lot of opportunities to the Battalion. They were dancing through the defense a little bit. They weren't able to clear the zone. And if you look at the 2 goals that happened, they were, number one, a great shot from Kyle McDonald, but the Romani goal was he was given way too much time to make some magic happen there.
Yeah, and that was not the first time that a player had that much time at the side of the net. It was just earlier in that sequence, there was another opportunity. I can't remember which Battalion player it was, tried to make a move around McDonald. And then Romani does, with his patience, showing off his nice hands in close, tucking it in behind. But that shot by Kyle McDonald, this is one of the reasons why the Dallas Stars gave him that 3-year entry-level contract.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. I think we saw, well, he had a chance with Ottawa in training camp. He played a little bit in the American Hockey League with Belleville, their American Hockey League affiliate. And then he comes back to the Battalion. He plays well in the games that he is in, and he gets injured. He's out for 20, 30 games, whatever the amount was. And then he comes back and he doesn't even miss a beat. The first couple of games, there was some kind of, they just had to kind of get that chemistry back in. But within maybe 2 or 3 games, it started rolling. And that line of Zito and Bloom have looked very strong with McDonald on it. And it's going to be interesting to see. I think McDonald's going to get a little bit of a shot with Dallas to start the year off. Maybe he gets that 8-game kind of some 4th-line minutes, 7th-man kind of minutes in the first 8 games or so. But I expect him to have a very solid season. And he's a big guy. His game should theoretically translate into a solid AHL, NHL kind of career, and it's going to be interesting to see how he does next year.
Definitely. He has the side. He has that reach advantage. He can guard the puck, putting it way out away from his body and use his body to separate the puck from the defender. He can create some space, and he definitely will get a look next year with Dallas and possibly in the AHL club there. You know what? Down there on the ice or between the benches, you can really feel the vibe that the Battalion have today. They're really into this game. They came out with that energy to get things going early on, and you can see it right there on the bench. They're not only just celebrating in their offensive plays, but they are, congratulating each other in the defensive plays. We talked about that play by Romani. There was another one where Wyatt Kennedy broke up a 4-on-1. So it's not that the Knights haven't had their chances. Yep. It's just the Battalion are coming hard back. They know what's at stake. This is basically the last team that they play that is ahead of them in their standings, and they want to set a tone and let it be known to the rest of the league that we are for real here up in North Bay, and the Battalion need to be taken seriously.
And again, this is a team that they should be an OHL final team. They could. I don't think anybody would say it's crazy for them to make it to the Memorial Cup. They are that good of a team. They just need to play this style of hockey every single game, and we've seen them kind of play down to their competition because they've played a lot of like Sudbury and Oshawa and Niagara, but then what happens is they're bringing that over into the games against Mississauga and Hamilton. But when they went to and they played Windsor back in this building, they struggled a little bit at the beginning, but then they picked up and they dominated that game and they came out with a win. And I think it's the same thing here, except that they've come out right away and they've, even though it's a 2-0 game, it kind of feels like it's more. Like this could easily have been, if McHugh didn't make a really nice play on McDonald, it could be 3-0. There's a lot of could-be's in this game so far, but at the end of the day, it's still a 2-0 game, and the Battalion aren't on their heels a lot. They're in the front, and that's going to be another interesting thing. And Max McHugh's another guy who he did end up going to the locker room, and we're going to have to see if he comes back out to start the second period.
I know he did come back out shortly after. I don't know if he got back on the ice, but he was back in the bench at the end of that first period. But he is a player, a draft pick of the San Jose Sharks, that has a lot of potential, and the Battalion have to worry about him. But he's not the only guy out there for the London Knights. They have other players such as the guy, George Diaco. He's having a great year for the London Knights, an overager, still without an entry-level contract. He's in that same possession that Kyle McDonald is, trying to make a mark and see if an NHL team will take a chance on him.
And he's kind of done that. 60 games, he has 25 goals, 45 assists. That's 70 points if the math is correct on this little sheet we got here. But either way, he's more than a point-per-game player. And for these overage, that's the kind of, if you're an overager and you're not drafted, there's a lot of pressure on you, right? Because then the question is, what do you do? Do you play university hockey? Your path to the NHL becomes not limited, but it starts becoming more of a dream and less of a reality when you get this age and you still aren't signed. But Diaco's a guy who I think I don't think it's going to be crazy for a team to pick him up on an entry-level contract with the way that he's been playing on that top line with Winterton and McGurn. And he hasn't looked too great in this game. Not a lot of Knights have really stood out in this hockey game so far, but he's a guy who's having a great season, and I think he's going to be somebody who's picked up in the offseason.
Yeah, not many London Knights have really stood out into this game. I thought they picked up the pace after giving up that second goal. Shots at the time were 7-1 for the North Bay Battalion, and they have put in 7 shots on that second half. They're trying to pick up the pace a little bit, try to pick up the physicality and draw a couple penalties from the North Bay Battalion with a couple late hits going to the net hard. They will start the second period with the man advantage as Hislop gets called for roughing there as the horn sounds. How important is that power play and penalty kill to either team?
Well, you can just imagine in that locker room right now with Dale Hunter, who's the head coach, is probably having a bit of a conversation with his team, and this is not the best period of hockey they've played, and they're playing against a really good, again, this is a team, this could be an OHL final matchup potentially, right? And North Bay's not that much of a different team when you versus like the Ottawa 67s. So if you're London, you're looking at this as kind of a, hey, how does the East match up to what the West can do, right? Because you don't see a lot of these teams. They only play each other twice a year. So it's going to be, I think they're going to come out firing. If you're the London Knights, it's crucial for them to get a goal here in this power play, get a 2-1 lead, get some of that momentum back. But I think if you're the Battalion, you've got to be aware that it's going to be a tough start of this period. And if you can have a solid penalty kill and continue that style of keeping the momentum in your favor and just keeping the puck out of your own net, and maybe getting one more in this second period, set yourself up for a nice, easy third period. That'd be kind of the goal for the next 20 minutes.
London Knights only 2 wins in their last 5 games since going on that vacation, as they haven't been on home ice because of the Brier going on for men's curling. So they've been forced to be on the road. How important is it for the London Knights to pick up points in this game to make it a successful road trip? Losing Thursday night in Barrie and forcing overtime or a late win last night, taking Sudbury 5-4.
Yeah.
That was a difficult game also.
Yeah, and again, they have one more game on Wednesday against Guelph, which isn't going to be like, Guelph's not having the greatest season in the world, but it's not going to be a super easy game either. And if you look at how they've done, they're 3-3-1 so far, so they've picked up a grand total of 7 points, if my math is correct. So they've left a lot of points on the table, and I think they kind of feel that same way. Like, pretty much every single team that they played on that road trip are teams that they should have won. They should be a 5-1 team at this point, a 6-1 team at this point going into this, or 5-2, or however. They should be over 500 on this road trip, and they're not. If they lose, especially in regulation, they don't even pick up a point here today, doesn't bode well, especially considering they are deadlocked with Windsor. But I think right now, if you're the Battalion, you're saying we want to win this in regulation, number one, because if we do face them, we want home ice advantage. And number two, just kind of keep the points away, and kind of it's always nice to kind of stick it to other teams when you know that when you win, it kind of negatively affects another team, especially this time of year.
So if you're Ryan Houlihan, you're happy with the first period, you're up 2-0. What adjustments do you make in the second period?
I don't think you really make any adjustments at all. I think they played such a good defensive game. Maybe be a little bit better when trying to clear the zone. We saw Christopoulos kind of make a bit of a bad play. There's been a couple of passes that haven't gotten out of the zone. But I think if you're Ryan Houlihan, the message is keep playing the exact game they're playing. If you look at how they're playing offensively, their transition game's looking fantastic. Their neutral zone game is looking great. They've gotten a lot of great opportunities. They've controlled the pace of play. Just maintain that great defensive game, and just keep doing what you're doing. If they play that exact same 20 minutes for the next 2 periods, it'd be surprising to see London coming back in this hockey game.
Wow, things are heating up here as there's still 40 minutes to play from Memorial Gardens, as it is the North Bay Battalion leading the London Knights by a score of 2-0. When we come back, Courtney Kenny will rejoin Ben Sargent for the call of the second period, as you are watching Knights Battalion here on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Well, we welcome you back inside Memorial Gardens for period number 2, as the London Knights are going to start on the power play after Hislop right at the end of the period taking a roughing call. And 2-0 game so far. You got to be happy, Courtney, with the effort that the Battalion have put in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, the troops looked like the better team for most of that first period. London did have spurts of control in there as well, but the Battalion coming out with a 2-0 victory or lead after 20 minutes of play. We'll have to see how that continues here, as they're going to have to kill off the penalty like you mentioned. London with the first touch as well, with Mayu in his own zone, as Mayu and the Knights in their road whites are going right to left this period. The Battalion in their road greens are going left to right, and now it's in quickly for George. George twists it around, tries to keep the puck in deep, can't get it past Lucan. Lucan gets the puck, sends it down the ice, and the Battalion are going to kill off the first 30 seconds of this man advantage here for London. Mayu knocked into the boards, loses it to Christoblis. Christoblis into the zone, and now takes another chance, as now Arnsby and Mayu exchange some words as well. The Battalion bench looking for a call, as Oulahan's is looking like he's looking for a hooking call with the way his hands were going. Mayu, though, going to skate off the ice and onto the Knights bench and not to the penalty box.
And Nelson also talking to the referee as well a little bit after that, as there's been, I think the Battalion think there's been a couple of calls that probably they think should have been called at this point, but they haven't gotten a couple of tripping calls that weren't called, and now this hooking, potential hook that they feel was missed, so I'm sure that's going to be something that we're going to hear about throughout the game as well.
Up the ice, Bonk tries to get it in, as that one's knocked aside by McHugh. And now Winslow tries to get to it, but it bounces out front of the Battalion net and sent down the length of the ice for Brochu to try and play behind his net. You know, some people would say the Knights are the Toronto Maple Leafs, Montreal Canadiens of the OHL, so it might be rigged a little bit for them, but hey, they'd have Memorial Cups if that was the case, right? So puck goes cross ice. That's my favorite thing whenever people talk about things being rigged for the Leafs. It's like, we haven't won a playoff series since 2004.
It's because you keep playing Boston.
Stop. Pain, okay? 39 seconds remain as the Battalion send the puck down the ice. And now it's going to be Dickinson with it in his own zone with 30 seconds remaining on the Hislop penalty. Up the ice looking for Cowan, as he would have been sent in alone, basically cherry-picking there at the Battalion blue line. To Christoblis. Christoblis shovels it back to the point. Can't get it. Dickinson. Cross ice. Another chance there. Bit of a knuckleball chance by Gazizov. And that one missed the net as 10 seconds remain. And now a tipped attempt in front by McHugh is stopped by Divinchentis with 9 seconds remaining on the Hislop penalty and 18:09 remaining in the second period.
Yeah, we talked about Max McHugh, if he's going to come back. He has, Derek did mention he went back on the bench. I don't think he played at the end of that first period.
We saw him once more after that.
Okay, there you go. I didn't see him again on the ice, but yeah, he's back out there now, which is good. So Knights just gotten the wind knocked out of him as he was kind of holding his midsection, but what a good start for the Battalion. It's exactly what you want on a penalty kill. Not a lot of good opportunities for the Knights so far.
London back to the point. That's Edward with the puck as the time is going to expire and Hislop's going to rejoin the play. Shot blocked in front and Hislop's back on the ice. Now the Knights were still with possession in the Battalion zone. It comes back out though And Leonard will have to bring it back to his blue line to give it to Edward. Edward flips the puck into the Battalion zone. DiVincentis leaves it behind his net for Lucan to come collect. But it's going to go to Crane. Puck in front of the net now. Back to Crane in the corner. Crane twisting and turning in the corner. Flips the puck back to Edward at the point. Edward takes a shot. Bobbled a little bit by DiVincentis. Zito's there to clean up the mess in front, though. And the Knights back with possession as Zito battles for it. Battling behind the net now with Christopoulos. The Knights with possession. Lose it, and now Zito has it. Flips it up along the boards to Petrov. Petrov looked for an outlet pass, decided he couldn't see anything, and skated it back deep into his zone before now he takes the puck down to the Knights zone. Tripped up. No call coming there. Houlihan just puts up his hands in disgust, as now the Knights have definitely gotten away with a couple of calls here in the second period early.
Yeah, even Lucan was hooked earlier by Ryan Humphrey, and no call on that last rush by the London Knights. And you can definitely tell that there's some frustration coming from the Battalion bench.
McHugh, or McGurn, into the Battalion zone, twisting and turning. Back to the point now for McKinnon. McKinnon goes cross ice to Mayu. Mayu with the shot. Turned aside by DiVincentis. Diaco out front to McGurn. His shot just misses the net. Diaco now with it. Twisting and turning in the corner. Diaco can't quite get a handle on it as he loses it. Now McKinnon flips the puck back in deep in the Battalion. Get it. Petrov flips the puck down the ice for Romani to go after. Romani, one of the goal scorers for the troops, goes around behind the Knights zone. Romani tried to flip it out front for Van Steensel. Van Steensel does get it after it hit a Knights skate. And back to Christopoulos. Christopoulos flips the puck on net, and Brochu's just going to glove that one, making sure it didn't go past his net and rebounding off the boards.
Well, if you're London, a good amount of pressure there on the Battalion side, but the Battalion, again, not giving too many great opportunities for the Knights to actually cash in, as we talked again about that kind of red zone in that high slot. They've really been keeping them out of it, making DiVincentis his life a lot easier, as he hasn't really had to make any absolutely amazing saves. If you look at the other side, the Battalion have had a lot of opportunities in that red zone against Brochu this afternoon.
Christopoulos throws the puck on net, well over the net. Terrian now flips it back in deep. Procession knocked off the puck. Terrian there to pick up the loose puck, however, and is sent back into the corner for Bouchard. Bouchard, a player we haven't seen much of for the Battalion this year. And the puck is flipped back in for Bonk. Bonk flips it across ice to George. George up to Levin, and Levin just tips the puck in. And now, behind the Battalion net is Hislop. Flips it up on the far side wall to Terrian, and it's quickly knocked aside by Procession. Back to Terrian. Terrian tries to knock his man down, as both him and Levin have about the same height. You don't see that very often for where Terrian's concerned, as the puck is knocked down into the Battalion zone by Federkow.
Well, starting to get chippy as McHugh and Zito kind of ran into each other in the neutral zone, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in this game we're going to see some sort of fight, and I'm sure it's either going to be Terrian or Arnsby on the Battalion side.
However, both those guys are over their instigating limits at 3, so they can fight if the other team instigates it. Nelson. Cross ice now to Lucan. Lucan back to Nelson. Nelson over to Zito. Quick shot, and that one's turned aside by Brochu. Zito takes his man down in the corner. Now it's McDonald with the loose puck. Threw it on net, couldn't get it past Dickinson. And now it's going to be Gazizov who gains the Battalion zone. Gazizov leaves it. Dickinson in deep. And it's stopped by DiVincentis. Another chance now back to the point for Edward. Edward throws the puck back in, and now McDonald flips the puck up to Bloom. Bloom tries to carry it in and get around Edward. Edward with a good stick knocks the puck off Bloom's stick. And now Dickinson picks it up behind his net. Puck flipped down the ice again. Kennedy will be the first one on that one in his own zone as he goes cross ice looking for Winslow. Winslow up to Romani. Romani through center ice over to Petrov. Petrov to Jackson. Jackson with the shot, he scores! Kyle Jackson puts the Battalion up 3-0.
And sometimes hockey's not fair, because London puts all this pressure in the first 6 minutes of this hockey game coming off that power play, and they had so many good opportunities. And then you have the third shot of the period, for the Battalion, ends up finding the back of the net. What a shot from Kyle Jackson. That is something we have not seen from Jackson too much since the Christmas break. A 5-on-5 opportunity where he just snipes a puck. And again, Brochu having some issues with his glove side in this hockey game, as that's now the second goal that's beat him cleanly, along with Kyle McDonald's snipe earlier in the game.
Kyle Jackson joins the 30-goal club as that is his 30th of the season. Hislop behind his net now. Battalion up 3-0. What a snipe, like you said, Ben. My goodness, that was some vintage Kyle Jackson there. Enjoy him while he's here, Troops fans. We're starting to run out of runway in the regular season. Tarasevic in behind, or into the half wall. Gets it out front for Van Steensel. Van Steensel behind the net. In goes for a skate still. Leaves it for Christopoulos. Christopoulos stops up, loses the handle on it. Now the puck is down to the Battalion zone, but Hislop will get there first. Hislop flips the puck down the ice to Arnsby. Arnsby gains the zone, loses the handle on it quickly though, and then he was knocked to the ice. Going the other way now is McGurn. McGurn tried to get the puck in deep. Now he finds it in the corner, and now the puck sent in on the net. Divinchentis knocked that one aside, and Van Steensel into the neutral zone. Flips the puck up, looking for Tarasevic. Puck never got to him. Now is Diaco. Throws it to his defenseman, and it's back to Christopoulos in the Battalion zone as they tried to throw the puck up ice. Christopoulos flips it up. Quick outlet pass there. Gets to Procession. Brochu now behind his net. Throws it up for McGurn, but McGurn misses it. Now Nelson picks it up in the neutral zone. Back to his own zone.
Looks like McGurn and...
Now it looks like McGurn and Procession are going to go, or Bouchard are going to go. As here we go, Ben, you called it. McGurn, just the wrong dancers, and Bouchard knocks him down to the ice. Brett Bouchard doesn't get into the lineup often for the Battalion, but showing himself well for his teammates there as he takes down Sean McGurn rather decidedly.
And McGurn's a big guy. Like, he's a little bit bigger than Bouchard as well, but as you said, like, I knew there was going to be a fight or something because there was just stuff happening, and it's going to be interesting to see if they throw an who's going to get instigated here, because both of them are kind of grappling with each other.
So if you're the Battalion, first off, Bouchard's, that's good. That's a great, as it looks like the Battalion are going to get the instigating penalty here. Although that one's kind of tough as they both were kind of tangled for a while.
Oh, it looks like
they're both going to get one. So here, Bouchard, all of 1 point. Bouchard, all of 1 point, just took down McGurn of 75 points.
There you go.
So
look at that.
Yeah, I think you'll take that trade-off if you're the Battalion, right?
Yeah, and that's what you want. And here's the thing. If you look at Bouchard, he's a fourth-line guy. He's not going to be a huge scoring threat. And you just took out one of their best scoring threats for the London Knights for the next
5 minutes at least.
Yeah. So when you look at it that way, that's kind of a big win for the Battalion. And that's where, again, from London, they let the emotions run too high. That is a penalty. If you're McGurn, you're down 3 goals at this point with about 32 minutes to go in this hockey game. You can't let your emotions run that high and put yourself out of that.
So the only penalties being called are roughing for each.
Oh, very interesting.
I don't know. It looked to me like there was a bit of a fight there. Diaco. All right, so Ben, we're officially looking for our first fight of the game still, as Nelson picks off that chance. So we're going to get some 4-on-4 action for another minute 30 here.
I would love to get that reasoning why.
McDonald with the sharp angle shot stopped by Bouchard. McDonald was looking to upgrade his combo to a double mac, so couldn't get it on that one.
But they had their gloves off, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They both did. They threw some punches, and then Bouchard knocked them in.
They didn't actually. Either of them threw punches with their gloves off. So I think the call is that they didn't throw any punches, so their gloves came off. No punches were thrown. They just wrestled to the ground.
I don't know.
Well, Bouchard, unfortunately, didn't throw any punches, but he won.
Yeah, he did
win. That was
win.
the main thing.
Decidedly, Bouchard won.
I've never seen a fight be a not fight before, but...
Yeah, decidedly, Bouchard won.
If you're in London, you're taking that as you don't lose one of your best point getters.
Brett the Undertaker Bouchard as the puck is thrown in on Divinchentis. George stops it from getting out of the Battalion zone, and now Christopoulos chases after it behind the net. Christopoulos looks for some options, flips it back around for Hislop. Hislop up the ice for Van Steensel. Van Steensel loses the handle on as he gained the zone, and now it's over to George. George tries to get around Christopoulos. He does. On the near side half wall. 40 seconds remain in the 4-on-4 hockey here, and 11 minutes remain in the period in general. Jackson, the most recent goal scorer, flips it back to Hislop behind his net, leaves it for Petrov. Petrov going for a skate. Gets to the neutral zone. Jackson, or Christopoulos, hits the back of his skates. He was going for a change, and now he has to go on the defensive. Hislop knocked to the ice. Gives it to Petrov. Back to Hislop. Hislop still battling just around behind his net to Petrov. Petrov feeds it through to Christopoulos. Christopoulos up to Jackson. Jackson in the neutral zone, gains the red line. Looks for some options, looks for some help, tries to get to Petrov, he does. Petrov's backhand, just a weak little dribbler on net. And now we're back to action here as McGurran comes out of the box, and they were looking for a breakaway pass for him. 10 minutes left as we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Nelson up the ice quickly looking for Bloom. Bloom tried to flip it over, couldn't get it to go, however, and now it's back up, and Cowan's going to be in alone on Divinchentis. Cowan with the shot, and he missed the net. Nelson in hard into the boards after that one, and now we have a mess of bodies behind the net with Lukin and Cowan. Zito on the far side wall, battling for the puck with Cowan draped all over him, and now Lukin gets it out for Nelson, and Nelson just flips it out of his zone. Edward, or rather Leonard. Both those guys' names ends with Erd.
And they play on the
same pairing.
Same pairing, yeah.
Zito. They're just trying to make our life a little bit easier, I guess. McDonald. Now it's Leonard again with the puck.
At least they don't have like the same number. Like one of them was like 20.
Yeah, exactly, right? At least there's a big difference. Julian with the puck. Gains the red line. Flips the puck into the Battalion zone. Divinchentis out to stop it. Flips it back around on his backhand quickly to McDonald. McDonald flips it right back to where he got it from, although it's to Winslow this time. Winslow cross ice to Kennedy. 9 minutes here in the second period. We'll hear from Derek Lindemann after our mid-period break as usual. And the puck sent in with Mayu. Mayu comes out from behind his net with the puck, flips it up ice, and missed Levin entirely. And that's going to go for icing here with 8:48 left in the second period. The Battalion own a 3-0 lead over the London Knights so far in this one. He's Ben Sargent, I'm Courtney Kenny, and we'll be back on the other side of this.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access to the alumni job portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
All righty, we'll bring Derek Lindemann back into the fold here as Derek, the Battalion are taking down the London Knights so far 3-0 halfway through this game. What's the feeling between the benches now as we had a fight that wasn't a fight, so you got to think there's some chirping between the two benches.
Well, you know what? There's not really any chirping between the two benches. There's a couple of late stick taps to the back of the legs, a little bit on the way to the benches. For the London Knights, giving it back to the Battalion. Battalion is just staying within their game plan and playing hockey and making sure they're doing the little things right, making sure they're back, taking care of their defensive zone and making it easy for Divinchentis to see the puck. 12 saves already, and he's been able to see that puck all night, Courtney. Things are looking good and going the way the Battalion wants.
All right, well, how's our thoughts on Kyle McDonald trying to upgrade his combo to a double Big Mac here?
You know what? He's trying hard. That last goal, though, by the Battalion, Petrov making that backhand sauce pass, putting a little sauce on that Big Mac for you, Courtney.
Appreciate it, Derek. And again, we're still waiting for Tom Martineau's predictions to come true in this one, so we'll have to see how things go as the game progresses here, Derek. And we'll hear from you again in the second intermission. So we're back underway here. 8:20 left in the second period. 3-0 Battalion lead. Paul Christopoulos with the puck. Leaves it for Matvei Petrov. Petrov going for a skate in his own zone. The birthday boy. Flips the puck in. Left for Brochu as he loses the handle on it. Now it's Mayu on the near side corner in the Knights zone. Sends the puck down the ice to Winterton. Winterton can't get a handle on it. And now Romani picks up the loose puck and goes for a skate through the neutral zone. Romani gains the zone, leaves the puck for Petrov. Petrov flips the puck in after Romani, but it'll go around to Jackson. And now Levin, the former Voodoo, flips the puck up the ice. Puck sent down the ice. Julian taking down Christopoulos, but now is a 2-on-1 for the Knights here as a good stick by Hislop knocks that one aside. Gazazov with Levin, and now it's Levin far side. Great save by Divinchentis. Oh my goodness, robbing the former Voodoo, Mike Levin. But what a great stick stop there by Hislop as well to Dickinson with the shot. And that one's off the glass behind the net. Levin with the puck, lost it though, and now Christopoulos has it behind his net. Christopoulos flips the puck up and out, but not for very long as it's flipped right back in with Diaco going after it with Hislop. Bloom flips the puck out of his zone, and now it's knocked off the Battalion sticks and back in for Divinchentis. Just under 7 minutes here in the second period. Bloom with the puck on the far side wall. Tries to get out of his zone. He does, but not for very long as it touched somebody on the bench. And now we're going to get a face-off here, but what a great play by Hislop, and then a great save followed by DiVincentis.
Yeah, and unlike McDonald, Levin wasn't loving it as DiVincentis made a great save as he stretched out. Easily his best save of the... That was a good one.
That was a good one. I'll give you that one. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
The game for DiVincentis. I had that in my mind for like the moment he saved that. I was like, this is going to be it. And then they had to play for another minute, and that was pure torture.
Oh, yeah. I bet it was. It was like much like doing the game with me with all the police jokes.
This one was...
Roxanne. You don't have to put on that dress tonight. Puck on the far side in the Knights zone. London with a lot more pressure here in this period than they had in the first period, it feels like. Now they gain the Battalion zone. Flip back for Bonk. Bonk with a shot. It's knocked off the stick as Van Steensel gets to it, but it's still in deep for the Knights. Back to the point. Bonk keeps it in. Comes cross ice for Dickinson. Dickinson takes the shot off the end wall. And now it's going to be the Knights with it again. The no-look pass is stopped by DiVincentis as they were able to get the puck back in. Now off the shin pad of Nelson. Zito carries the puck into the zone, gives it to McDonald. McDonald up to Van Steensel, who kicks it into the corner. Battling with Dickinson now. Van Steensel comes back away with it. Goes cross ice! And Zito tipped it on net, but it just missed and went behind the net. And once again, now it's the Battalion with possession, although they'll have to flip it out of the zone as they just got it to the blue line and out. Back out for Winslow. Winslow gains the red line. Flips the puck in, but not for much longer, as now the Van Steensel tries to find Arnsby as they regain control. Arnsby in the near side corner to Van Steensel. Van Steensel looking for options, gets it back to Arnsby. Arnsby looking for chances, gives it back to Christopoulos, who just throws it in past the net. Bonk with it now. And Bonk leaves it behind the net for Dickinson. Dickinson tried to clear that one right off of Tarasevich's helmet. And Tarasevic gained the loose puck briefly, flipped it back in, but now the London on the attack with Crane. Flips it in, takes a big hit as well on his way in. And it's up to Tarasevic. Tarasevic back to Arnsby. To Tarasevic. Tarasevic just passed cross ice to Therrien. Off his skate, and now Edward has the puck. Edward into the Battalion zone. Twists and turns, stops up. Leaves it behind the net. Christopoulos takes his man Levin into the boards. And now Levin falls down. And he gets it back to the point for Edward. Edward throws the puck on net, and that was turned aside by DiVincentis. 4:20 remaining in the second period. Battalion have a 3-0 lead. Shots are even though, 17-16, as the puck is still in the Battalion zone. Hislop tries to get it up for Therrien. Therrien can't get it in. Now he's knocked in hard into the boards. Now it's Tarasevic. Tarasevic looking on net, takes the shot. George's stick stopped that one as it never got to Brochu. Therrien looks a little bit shaken up as he goes to the bench. And now Procession knocks his man down, Levin. Puck sent down the ice again. That'll go for icing. And we'll get a stoppage here, an offensive zone draw for the Battalion with 3:49 left.
Very interesting shift for Jacob Therrien, as he was almost had a good scoring opportunity if a pass could have gotten across the slot area, and then he puts out a big hit, and then he gets laid out as well by Logan Mayu, and Therrien looking a little bit shooken up as he's kind of bent over there on the bench, so we'll see if he misses any time, but yeah, it was definitely a good shift from him as he was very aggressive, but yeah, and he's a guy, again, Jacob Therrien's a guy who, because he was on the podcast, but he has played since he's been on the podcast, so he's picked up a couple of goals. He's been much more comfortable on the ice, and I'm not saying you're welcome, but all I'm saying is
you're welcome.
Cause and effect.
Yeah.
That's it.
And now a big whack on the back of the leg for Romani from Levin. Is now a chance there for the Knights, and that's stopped by DiVincentis. And puck sent up ice for Jackson. Jackson tries to get in past two Knights. Gives it to Romani. Romani looks for more options as he twists and turns. Romani in for Winslow. Winslow knocks the stick out of Mayu's hands. No call coming on that one. Now it's Jackson. Jackson back to Nelson at the point. Nelson unloads! And he sent that one just wide. Winslow keeps the puck in, though. And Mayu takes the puck and sends it down the length of the ice. Will it have the legs for icing? And it will, but it's waved off. Nelson Flips the puck right back down into the Knights zone, but is stopped at the blue line there by Leonard. And now Gazazov sends it in. Knights again with a chance. Looking for chances. Flips the puck in, and that one's going to go cross ice and hit the glass, as now sticks are just going everywhere as Mayu returns the favor just on the wrong player to Romani. Well, if you want sticks, they're flying everywhere. They're literally flying off the shelves in this one. As the puck in deep, as now it's in front. Stopped by DiVincentis there by Gazazov, who had a good chance for the Knights. Back out to Gazazov. Gazazov skates in, takes a shot, blocked there by Winslow. Winslow hobbled by that one. We'll have to keep an eye on him here as he stays out there. Back in Cowan. Flipped it out. Now Romani is going to find it to Winslow, who gets it up ice to McDonald, and then they're just going to flip the puck into the Knights zone and go after it. Christopoulos to Zito. Zito takes the shot, stopped by Brochu, and we're going to get a stoppage here as Brochu quickly corrals the rebound and covers it up.
Well, it's got to be frustrating for Dale Hunter, the head coach of the London Knights, that because they've had a good period. They put a lot of pressure on the Battalion. I think they played the better period, though it's been Battalion have had their options, but they still don't have a goal, and they gave up a goal in this period. And it's just been one of those games where the Battalion have just taken, their shots have been good, and they've taken care of their opportunities. And DiVincentis, again, has made 2 or 3 really good saves in this period.
Puck back to the point. Bonk flips the puck on net, stopped by DiVincentis. Another chance back to Bonk. Bonk flips the puck in. It hits a maze of traffic on the way, and then Bloom tries to get it out, but can't. Now it's back in for Diaco. Diaco tries to flip it on net, but a good stop there by Christopoulos. Keeps it away, and then a poke check by DiVincentis. Now we're going to get a penalty called here with 1:21 left, as it's going to be the Knights that are going to get called this time around. And finally, it looks like the Knights are going to the penalty. Or no. It looks like
it'll be the Battalion.
No, it is George Diaco going to the box.
Oh, they have the Battalion. It's a high stick, it looks like, to the captain.
Well, you know, it's easy if you're the penalty box attendant that every penalty's gone against the Battalion so far that you might as well. Okay, I guess we're opening up the door, but...
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I believe this is their second power play, or I think they had
this
one
will be
back
their
in
second,
the first.
yes.
Yeah. So it'll be, that Ty Nelson again looking to tie, to get to that lead tie for defensemen and goals. And it'll be interesting with 1:18 to go. They have one more chance to kind of ice this, make it very tough in the third period for the Knights to come back the way this game has gone.
Also interesting, Diaco, the captain of the Knights, when he didn't even start the season with London. He started with Hamilton. As now the puck is knocked out and into the Battalion bench, so Houlihan throws that one over for the referee to pick up. So that killed 10 seconds on that penalty, 1:50. And we have 1:08 left in the second period.
As you said, it's very rare that you see a captain get promoted kind of mid-season, but sometimes it happens, and that just shows the character for a guy like George Diaco and what kind of a player he is.
Jackson had a chance in the slot, couldn't get a shot away. Now McGurn goes through into the zone as they were looking for a shorthanded chance there. Couldn't get that one to go as McHugh. And now it's up to Nelson. 1:30 remaining on this power play, but 45 seconds in the period. 3-0 Battalion lead. Jackson leaves it for Petrov. Petrov couldn't gain the zone, and now it's back to Romani, over to Arnsby. Arnsby loses the handle on it, but gets it back to Nelson. Nelson cross ice quickly for Petrov as they trade places. Petrov leaves it for Jackson. 25 seconds remain. Petrov for Romani. Romani back in deep for Petrov. Petrov to the point for Jackson as him and Petrov change spots. Now Romani with it, takes the shot, stopped by Brochu. It's still there on the side of the net, but the Knights are going to clear the zone, or rather they tried to, but couldn't, as a good stop there by Petrov. 7 seconds left. The Battalion in deep, a good chance there. And that was turned aside. 3 seconds remain as the puck comes out to Petrov, and that'll kill the remaining time here in the second period as the Battalion have a 3-0 lead after 40 minutes of play, and that bodes well going into the third as the Battalion are 32-1-1 after leading after 2 periods, whereas they're 2-16 if they don't have the lead after 40 minutes. So history is on the Battalion side, also scoring first. The Battalion are 30-0-1 when they score the first goal. So history definitely on their side here as they're up 3-0 as we get set for the intermission, Ben.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good third period, I think, but the London Knights did everything right in that period, just couldn't find it by Dom DeVincentis, and it'll be interesting to see how this third period goes, but if you're Ryan Houlihan and the Battalion, you just got to tighten up a little bit defensively, get the puck out of your zone a little bit more, and it's going to be an interesting last 20 minutes.
Should be an interesting one, so buckle up for sure. Derek Lindemann and Ben Sargent will take you through the intermission content, as they'll have lots to update you on for sure. I'm Courtney Kenny, he's Ben Sargent, and we'll be back on the other side of this. As always, keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we're back inside Memorial Gardens, where the North Bay Battalion have added another goal in that second period and now lead the London Knights by a score of 3-0. Let's take a look at the scoring summary after 2 periods. Kyle Jackson getting his 30th of the season at the 6:05 mark of the second period from Petrov, and Romani was the lone goal of that second period. Just of note, if you're keeping track of goals at home, an assist has been added to Ty Nelson on Romani's 20th goal of the season. That was the first Battalion goal of the game tonight. 3 more penalties coming up in that middle frame. Sean McCurran and McCurran and Brett Bouchard went off for roughing at 7:34, and then George Diaco went off for high sticking at 18:42. The Battalion will still have 42 seconds left on the power play when the third period resumes. Both teams have had 2 power play opportunities. No goals to report with the man advantage. Shots on goal in the second period, the Knights 11 for a total of 19, and for the Battalion 9 for a total of 20. Let's take a look around the OHL this afternoon. Only 2 other games on tap. First off, in Hamilton, the Bulldogs now lead the Ottawa 67s 4-1. That has 5 minutes left in the second period. And in Sarnia, the Sting have a 5-2 lead over the Kitchener Rangers, just under 5 to go in the second. Nolan Burke with the hat trick for the Sting, now 47 goals on the campaign for Nolan Burke. He's second in the OHL in scoring, as leading the way is Matthew Maggio, 49 on the season for Maggio with the Spitfires. So quite the race heating up there for goals atop of the OHL, but things heating up here too at Memorial Gardens as the Battalion now have 3 30-goal scorers as Jackson gets to the 30-goal mark. He joins Kyle McDonald, who hit it on Friday, and just on Thursday, Dallin Wakely picked up his 30th, even though he's not in the lineup tonight. Quite the milestone for those 3 Battalion players. Romani 20, so you know what? Goals plenty here for the North Bay Battalion. 3 in this game. We kind of didn't know what to expect. Either we were going to see a tight checking, low-scoring game, or could be the totally opposite and see a high-scoring game. 3 goals, almost what we might have expected tonight, Ben.
Yeah, I think it's very similar. And, man, if you're London, how frustrating is that second period for you? You kind of outplayed the Battalion at a lot of times where you put a lot of great offensive pressure. Divinchetta stood on his head for about 3 or 4 amazing saves in that period, and you still find yourself not able to break the goose egg on the scoreboard, and you give up a goal halfway through that game. And that was a period where I think in a perfect world, London would have loved to score in the first half of that period, get and made it 2-1, maybe put some pressure, maybe even tied it up going into this third period. It's going to be tough for them to come back now in 3 goals in 20 minutes. But the big word for this next period is going to be momentum, and we know how fast the way that London is playing. If this second period is a lot like if this third period is a lot like the second period, the moment I think if London can break through Divincentis and get one on the board, it could be kind of a very fast turn. We saw this with the Battalion. Their first 2 goals were 28 seconds apart. It could be something very fast like this. So yes, it's 3-goal difference, but you want to try and if London finds the back of the net, it's about stopping that momentum and trying to keep 3 pucks out of the back of the net.
And I think the key to North Bay is not get caught sitting back on your heels. You've got to keep playing the game you did for the first 40 minutes. Keep trying to play offensively, take the puck, keep it down in the other zone. They do have 42 seconds to start the third period with the man advantage. I think that's very key for the Battalion and try and get some momentum off of that power play.
Yeah, I think it helps. And I think with London, when you look at the first maybe 4 or 5 minutes of that second period, having that first the penalty to Hislop right at the beginning of it, that really helped them maintain momentum and maintain pressure for the first, again, 4 or 5 minutes, first quarter of that period. So it's the same kind of idea here. You're going to be on the offensive right away. One of the things I didn't notice, though, in that period was the Battalion did not do a good job of clearing their own zone. There were a lot of times where they got the puck right up near the blue line. They tried to make a pass out. They tried to get cute with it. They couldn't get the puck out of their own net, and it gave a couple of great second opportunities to the London Knights. That needs to stop. If you have to get the puck out of the net and just dump it down, even if you have to potentially ice the puck, just don't give up those opportunities where you get a great second chance. You already have a bunch of London Knights already in the offensive zone. You got to find a way to get that puck across the blue line.
Well, we talked about him in the first intermission. We expected how he would come out to start the game. Liam Marnsby, not on the score sheet, but you can feel his presence down there at ice level, especially. Even though he might not be hitting all his checks, he's still making a presence felt down there on the ice.
Yeah, and he definitely was a little bit more prominent in that first period than the second period. But I did think that that entire line has done a good job of putting on that offensive pressure. And not just them, that fourth line, we saw Terrian throw the body around a little bit. We saw Bouchard somehow not get a fighting major for his wrestling down of Cohen. So it's kind of interesting how that kind of happened. But there's a lot of bodies throwing around. And if you're London, the big thing now is you want to stay out of penalty trouble. You don't want to give away any more time. Every minute that you play in this third period is so crucial, and you just don't want to give anything back to the Battalion.
And I kind of think the Battalion are trying to coax the London Knights into taking penalties. You can see the London Knights doing that little slash, that little cross-check as the players trying to skate away after delivering those hits. If that continues, eventually that's going to get caught up with you, and the referees are going to give the opposing team the man advantage, and that's what the Battalion seem to be looking like they're doing. And especially Liam Marnsby, no matter when he's on the ice, you can see the London Knights are trying to make sure that they know where he is at all times. They need to avoid those hits. Those are coming in, and it's like a freight train coming at you.
Yeah, the Battalion, and when it comes to physicality, it's the Battalion who are setting the precedent for that physicality. If they didn't come out swinging right out of the gates, I don't think this would have been as kind of gritty or as dirty of a game as it kind of has been so far. But it was the Battalion, and it was Arnsby especially, him and Terrian, who have been really throwing that body around and saying, hey, we're going to come out aggressive. We're going to throw the body around. We've seen Petrov do it. We've seen Zito do it a little bit. We've seen Jackson do it quite a bit. So now all of a sudden London's like, hey, if you're going to hit us, we're going to hit you. And, this is one of those situations where the physicality has been very important.
Okay, Ben Long, you're wanting to jump in. Before I throw it to the players to watch, let's hear from our producer.
All right, so just on the topic of physicality, Ben's very correct that we've seen a lot of that. Van Steensel in the last few games, me and Derek talked about off air, about how he's really stepped back up to last year. He played a really physical role playing with Arnsby, and he's really done that again the last few games, and we've really noticed him out on the ice more. He's getting into a lot more play, so I think that's really good play out of him to recognize that.
Exactly. I really liked Owen Van Steensel's games the last couple of games here at the Gardens, both physically and using his offensive speed and hands to create space. One of the things we do here on the front line is recap after 40 minutes our players to watch, as they were brought to you by Mark, the financial advisor.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
Well, if you're a North Bay Battalion fan, you got to be happy with our players to watch and how they are doing with their teams respectively. Logan Mayu, a -2 on the night for the London Knights, so not getting involved offensively. Getting those 2 goals scored against. And for Ty Nelson, 2 assists. He's a +2, 2 shots. Ty Nelson, you know what, 2 assists. Not goals, but they are on the score sheet.
And that's kind of the big difference between those two players. If you look at it again, Nelson, who, he had that one big goal that was called back earlier, like last month, so he could definitely be at 23, 24 goals. But the biggest difference is if you look at the assist category, Nelson has double the assists of Logan Mayu, and what that shows you is that tells you how crucial he is to setting up some of these plays and getting the puck on the right stick, and that's what he does. He's a point guy who gets stuff going, and if you watch the way these two play, Mayu just is kind of there. He takes his shots when he has to, but he doesn't really quarterback a lot. We haven't seen that kind of quarterbacking ability from him, but when you look at Ty Nelson on the ice, he's jumping in the rush. He's, again, quarterbacking that power play. He's quarterbacking when they're in the offensive zone, and you can tell the kind of leadership differences on the defensive side that those two players make. And again, Nelson, he's kept off the score sheet in the last 2 games. Now he comes back with a 2-assist game, and there might be a little bit more left in the tank, I think, in the next 20 minutes.
One of the things you guys might not necessarily hear from up here in the broadcast booth, but definitely down between the benches, is the communication, especially by Ty Nelson, how he's trying to get his team up, trying to coaxed him into making good plays. He's yelling out when he's open. He's wanting the puck. He's communicating with his defense partner consistently. Those are key things that we have not really seen or heard even within a Battalion team in the last couple of years. He's leading on the ice and as a leadership with his vocality and just trying to keep the spirits up on the bench.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about Nelson is that it doesn't really matter who his defensive partner is. He doesn't have necessarily a set D partner. As we saw, Winslow was his kind of main guy. Then he goes off with an injury. They pick up Braden Hislop. He's been his main guy. Today he's playing with Alexander Lukin on that kind of second pairing. So it doesn't really matter who he's playing with. He tends to make his other defensemen, as you said, the communication and stuff, he makes that defensive core so much better, and it's going to be one of those things where hopefully he's going to be here at least for another year or so. But yeah, he's one of those guys who's playing so good that at the same time you don't want to see him leave. But it's one of those things where he's playing himself really well into a potential stint maybe with Seattle at some point in the next year or two.
And one of the differences is you look at Ty Nelson. He was the #1 overall draft pick in the OHL. When you're thinking about those #1 picks, you're thinking about guys that are putting points up on the board. But when you're looking at the defenseman, you don't want to just continuously look at the points on the score sheet, but you also want to look at those leadership skills that he brings, how he performs defensively. He's not going to leave you shorthanded trying to take that odd rush and not come back. He's probably the first one coming back, and he's coming back hard the whole time.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of that's a big thing, and we've seen that when they've been down, right? He's the guy who's starting a rush. He's starting these offensive opportunities, and as you said, there's a lot more to just what you see on the stat sheet, and I think that's something that Nelson is, not just does he put points on the board, not just does he have this great shot, but at the same time, he also does a lot for his defensive team on the defensive side. Yeah, he makes the odd miscue that we've seen where you're kind of like, what are you doing? Why are you pinching here or there? But for the most part, that's very few and far between. And when you have guys who tend to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more offensive oriented, they tend to make more defensive mistakes, and we don't see that from Ty Nelson. He's very solid defensively, and he's a really good, again, defenseman.
So, Ryan Houlihan, what do you think his message is to his players coming out here for the third period, up 3-0 you want to come out with this victory?
I think you got to say, let's play like we played in the last 40 minutes. However, get the puck out of our own zone with more effectiveness, preferably not actually icing the puck, but you do want to get the puck out of the zone a little bit more regularly, and that's going to be kind of the big thing. The other thing is keep the momentum away. If London decides to score, especially if it's kind of the midpoint or earlier part of the period, don't allow them to come back into this game, because very quickly London can find 3 in the back of the net, even though DiVincentis is one of the best goaltenders in the league.
Well, you have heard it here as we're set for the third period. When we return, Courtney Kenny will rejoin Ben Sargent for all of your third period action here on the front line as you are watching Attack Battalion on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Back inside Memorial Gardens, 20 minutes to go. 3-0 Battalion, and might be an interesting 20 minutes depending on how this one shakes out. It could be uneventful, it could be very, see a couple of fights, even though Bouchard's didn't count, which it should have. And, or we could see some very tight end of the game as, Courtney, what are we going to see here in this third period?
I think we're going to see the Battalion coming out strong here, as it was London that pretty much dictated the pace of play in that second period. But like London, the Battalion have a power play here to start the third period like London did in the second period. So we'll have to see if the Battalion get their legs out of them here with 30 seconds to go on the power play. McDonald into the zone as the troops in their home greens are going right to left in this period. London and the road whites are going left to right. 25 seconds, Winslow over to Zito. Back to Winslow at the point. Zito cross ice quickly to McDonald. Can't get a shot away. McDonald switches spots with Winslow. Back to Zito. Zito cross ice to Winslow. Playing pitch and catch, gets it back to McDonald. We're down to the final few seconds. McDonald with a shot blocked. And now Zito gets it in deep for Bloom. Bloom skates around, leaves it for McDonald. McDonald dipsy doodles around one, takes the sharp angled shot. And McGurn picks up the rebound and looks up ice. Stopped there by McDonald though. And McDonald now looking for some chances. Couldn't get the shot away though. McDonald, cross ice to Lucan. Lucan takes a pass / shot, and Zito grabs a hold of it and takes the actual shot. And Brochu turns that one aside. Back to 5-on-5 hockey now. Lucan flips the puck back into the Knights zone, going cross ice. And now George picks it up. 18:40 here in this third period. The Battalion have a 3-0 lead, and they lead on the shot clock, 21-19 so far as well. Bonk up the ice for McHugh. McHugh tries to flip that puck in now, and it's Van Steensel with it. Van Steensel flips the puck around behind the net for Brochu. Brochu goes around the long way as it takes a bit of a weird bounce as Arnsby was ready for it. But because of the bounce, now the puck came out to the neutral zone for Hislop, who just throws it back in. 2 minutes gone in this third period. No score in this third period. Battalion still lead 3-0. And now it's Van Steensel who picks off a pass. Looks up ice for Hislop. Hislop gains the zone. Can't get anything to go, though, however, as the puck goes into Brochu, but it never made its way to him as Edwards stopped that one up. Cowan over to Gazizov. Gazizov back to Mayu. Mayu with the shot kicked aside by Divinchentis. And now it's Romani with the puck quickly up ice for Petrov. Petrov in alone. Takes a chance. Goes up high. And he missed the net. Matvey Petrov looking for a goal here on his birthday like Dallin Wakely a week ago. Petrov had Brochu beat. Brochu put up the scorpion pad basically looking for a desperate save there, but Petrov just put it over the net.
And that would have been a big dagger in the heart of the London Knights at this point. Every minute's so crucial. And Battalion, we talked 32-1-1 leading after 2 periods. And again, they do this so well, but they've already killed off 3 minutes of this clock.
Crane in the Battalion zone, loses it. Terrian with it. Runs out of room rather. And now it's down to Dickinson at his own blue line, gets it up to Crane. Crane flips the puck in, and that's going to go high off the glass behind Divinchentis' net. And Winslow's going to pick it up. Winslow to Terrian. Quickly to Procession. Back to Terrian. Terrian sends the puck in deep. Brochu gets to it. And now London going the other way. Can't get through the neutral zone, however, as they flip the puck in. Winslow. Cross ice to Kennedy. Back over to Bloom. Bloom on the near side through the neutral zone. Leaves it for Zito. Zito flips it back in for Bloom, and Bloom sends it around the end wall for Kennedy. Kennedy flips it right back where he got it from. And now Bloom will have to battle for the puck, but he loses that battle. And going down the other way was Federico. Now it's Divinchentis to Zito. Zito can't get a handle on that one. And now, thankfully, McDonald was there to help him out. McDonald backhands it up the ice. George gets to it first. As we're now over 4 minutes gone in this third period. Levin with the puck. Loses it, though. As now Christopoulos gets it and gives it to Hislop. Back to Zito. Zito gains the red line, flips it in, and the Battalion go for a quick change. Quickly up ice now for Levin. Can't get the handle on that one. And that one's going to go for icing. And it's funny because last year when Levin was playing for the Voodoos, Chris Dawson got me down there and interview him to ask him, some questions for an article. And then I never ended up writing the article. So I still have on my phone questions an interview with Mike Levin that just went nowhere. I guess I could have used it today, but
yeah, you could have just used it today. But either way, you got it. This is the Battalion are definitely playing more like they did in the first 20 than the second period. And again, each minute that runs off this clock makes it less and less likely London's going to come back in this game. And that's what you're doing as a Battalion right now. You're just trying to kill time off the clock.
Battalion looking to kill time while maybe trying to get another goal or two as well. Christopoulos in his own zone with the puck. Flips it up for Arnsby. Arnsby goes cross ice to Hislop. Hislop gains the red line. I've just been told by Tom Martineau that the Petrov breakaway should count for him. He just texted me that. I don't know if we'll give it to him. We'll have to ask Derek at the mid-period break.
I don't think so. Petrov didn't score.
Yeah, he didn't score.
Maybe he's on the bench. You should tell him to.
I think Tom's head is just getting a little bit too big. I don't know how he makes his way in there with his ego.
Yeah, again, there's still 3 people in there between him and Derek. I don't know how they fit through the door.
I really don't get it. It's impressive, is what it is. And
That's why we put him down there is because his ego's too big for up here.
Yeah, he sucks up all the air up here. Cowan knocked off his feet in the Battalion zone. Diaco loses it, and now Christopoulos has it. Christopoulos falls down, nearly gives the puck away, and now all the Battalion players are falling to the ice. Gets it up to Van Steensel, though. Van Steensel gains the zone. Flips that one in for Tarasevich to chase after. Edward with the puck. Sends it in, and now Bonk with possession. Bonk through the neutral zone. Looking to hear his name called in the NHL draft this year. I would have to say his chances are rather likely after the season he's had with the Knights. Hislop. Up the ice now for Petrov. Petrov to Romani. Romani's attempt, as now Petrov is laying on the ice. Jackson falls down as he was going to get a backhanded chance away. Couldn't. Petrov back up in the play. Lukin takes a quick shot. Brochu stops that one. And we have 14:06 here left in the third period. 3-0 Battalion lead.
Yeah, pretty good game so far. I mean, you look at the 3 goals that have happened are kind of goals that I think Brochu would have liked to have back, as especially the 2, like the McDonald and the Jackson one, both good shots, but both I think that he would say, like, on his glove side, that generally goaltenders are a little bit stronger on their glove side, so Brochu probably would have liked it a little bit more, but even shots, 23-20 right now in favor of the Battalion, and it's been one of those games where it doesn't feel like a 3-0 game. It feels like a much tighter one.
I would hope goalies are better with their glove hand for sure. McKinnon gains the zone, takes a shot. There's a glove save there by DiVincentis. Popped out of his glove, but Lukin was there just to shovel the puck back to his goaltender, and he's able to cover it up.
Well, again, now almost just over 6 minutes gone in this third period, and again, it's one of those things where the Battalion have not given London a lot of opportunities in the offensive zone, as they've kept them. Again, we talk about offense creating good defense, and that's what the Battalion have been doing. They've been spent so much time in the London zone. They're not giving London a lot of opportunities, and again, when you don't get opportunities to score, it's pretty hard to put the puck in the net.
Petrov sent that puck down the ice quickly, looking maybe for a bounce off the end boards for Romani, but Mayhew's going to get there first for an icing call, so London with another offensive zone draw here.
Well, with Brochu potentially getting signed maybe in the offseason, the nice thing for the London Knights is they have a guy in Zach Bowen who's been absolutely fantastic with a 294 goals against average, 904 save percentage, with 16-3 this year. So for London, you know that their future is kind of set. Same age as Charlie Robertson, and he's been absolutely fantastic going into his draft year.
Yeah, the Knights always seem to find good talent late in the draft. That's how they've been able to build. I mean, some of it helps when players say that the only team they're going to is going to play for is London. But
they build that program up,
exactly.
Right? They create that.
If you look at how they were 20 years ago, before the Perrys, before, the Dennises and all them, they were not a good team in the OHL. Julian, as McKinnon takes a shot blocked there off the knee, and that's Lukin who's slow to get back up. Terrian gets it back. Lukin hobbles off to the bench. Looks like he's in a lot of pain, too. Not putting any weight on that leg. As now it's Terrian in behind the Knights zone. Comes away with it. Bounces off a check from Mayhew. Back to Kennedy to Winslow. Back in for Terrian. Terrian couldn't get that one to go as he was in the high slot. And lost the puck on that one. Puck sent down to the Battalion zone again. Kennedy blowing a bit of a tire there with Federico. And now the Knights have possession, but they send it all the way back down to the Battalion, or the Knights zone, for Brochu to come out and play the puck. As that one took a weird bounce, and then Bouchard almost had a gift at the blue line. McGurn into the Battalion zone. Tries to get around the defender. He can't, as Hislop knocks him down, and then McGurn carries him with him. Bouchard, or Zito, throws a hit. And now the Knights looking to get the puck back into the Battalion zone, and they do. Christopoulos looking for his chances. Sends the puck up ice. And now that's going to be Cowan with the puck. Goes cross ice for Leonard. Leonard for Dickinson. Dickinson couldn't get the handle on that one, and now Hislop with possession. Hislop flips the puck down the ice. Weird bounce off the end board. Comes into Brochu, and he's just going to stop that one. But as I was saying, they're in the 70s and whatnot, they had players like Daryl Sittler, whose numbers up in the rafters. But the Knights were kind of lost for a long period of time there until the Hunters took over. And ever since the Hunters have taken over, well, they've won their first Memorial Cup. Then they won another one with Mitch Marner in the early 2010s. So, I mean, they've gone through, or in the mid-2010s, I should say, they've gone through a process where they've been good for a long stretch of time under the guidance of the Hunters.
And it's interesting, too, because for the longest time, the Brampton, when they were the Brampton Battalion and now the North Bay Battalion.
Christopoulos with a quick shot. Knocked aside by Brochu. We'll get back to your thought here in a moment, Ben. As the puck now out to the neutral zone. Cowan stops that one up. And Diaco with it. Diaco to Cowan. Cowan back in for Diaco, the captain. Now a chance there by Bonk. And a stave there by DiVincentis as the play is stopped as well.
As I was saying, the Brampton Battalion and the North Bay Battalion for a very long time were underneath the watchful guise of one little Stan Butler. And it's interesting here with Adam Dennis is going to get a chance to build a team, and it's very interesting to see if he can build that kind of sustainable model, which, you know, in the end of the Stan Butler era, they were kind of in a bit of a decline, and they were kind of in a rebuild, and now with Adam Dennis now changing from they were rebuilding.
Arnsby in alone with a chance here. Arnsby shoots and he misses the net. Oh, Liam Arnsby with a golden opportunity there for the Battalion. Another chance there by Van Steensel on the tip as the Battalion look to come alive here on this shift, starting with that Arnsby chance. Another shot down the ice. Hislop starts that one by his blue line. Comes away with the puck, goes up ice quickly for Tarasevic. Tarasevic shovels the puck down into his own zone. 3-0 Battalion lead with just under 11 minutes gone, or rather 9 minutes gone. Van Steensel up the ice for Tarasevic. For Winslow over to Arnsby. Arnsby couldn't get that one to go, however, as he's going to kick that one back to Bloom, and Bloom's going to keep that one out. Now it's Mayu into the Battalion zone, over to Cowan. Cowan for Diaco. We're going to see a lot of this line, I'm sure, coming down the stretch here for the Knights. Has the Battalion get the puck down and out of the zone. And now the Knights with possession with it, with Mayu in his own zone. Mayu. We're also going to have to hear from Derek Lindemann here momentarily. Has now a quick shot there. Is stopped by DiVincentis. Back out front again into the slot. Mayu stoned by DiVincentis. A second chance. Oh my goodness, Dom DiVincentis standing his ground on one of the top scoring threats from the back end on Logan Mayu. 11. Back out for McKinnon to Mayu. Mayu's going to see that one in his nightmares for sure. Not one, but two great chances for number 24 for the London Knights. Back in for Winslow. Winslow can't get a hold on it. Now as Nelson just absolutely destroys Levin. Oh, McDonald now into the Knights zone.
And that was the second big hit because he had a big hit on Mayu after his missed opportunity.
McDonald taken to the ice behind the net. Looks for the puck as he battles with Julian. Zito had it as well. Now McDonald comes away with it. Goes back to the point for Kennedy. Kennedy back to McDonald. McDonald tries to float that one on net. Stopped there by Levin, who came across sprawling. Now Humphrey into the zone. Gets across ice to Gazazov. Gazazov. His pass went to nobody, but the Knights are able to keep it in. McGurn couldn't get that pass to go to anyone, and now he picks it back up in the near side corner. Back to Gazazov. Gazazov loses the handle on that one, and now it's back to the point for Dickinson. Dickinson carries the puck in. London with some pressure here, as now it's going to be Romani who comes away with a loose puck, and the Battalion have numbers going the other way. Anthony Romani back to Bloom. Bloom with the shot, stopped by Brochu, and Brochu standing tall as well. Both goaltenders here making great saves in this third period. Dickinson behind his net. Stops things up. 8 minutes remaining in this period. Poor Derek's been on the phone here waiting to talk for a little while. Has a chance there from the sharp angle, hit the post and bounce back out. Hislop with the puck behind DiVincentis' net to Jackson. Jackson cross ice to Christopoulos. Christopoulos up the ice, loses the handle on that one though. And then a centering pass hits the stick of the defender for the Knights. And now it's back out for Hislop in the neutral zone. Christopoulos gives the puck away as he got the puck back into the Knights zone. But now London will have possession as they go down the ice. McGurn quickly over to Gazazov. Gazazov with the puck in front of DiVincentis as now it bounces down. The goaltender finds the puck, and the net comes off its moorings as well. And now Christopoulos getting into it a little bit with his man, as the one London player who was down there, I believe it was Winterton.
And they might. The referee's pointing to both of them here.
That's Crane that was. That was Crane that was taken hard into the net there, and it was Christopoulos. As it looks like Christopoulos and Crane are both going to go, as you said. Anyways, that'll bring us to our mid-period break here. We'll hear from Derek Lindemann on the other side of this.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Tours. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Tonight's 3 Stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
All right, Derek, we finally get to talk to you now after a long period there of play, and I got to ask, I got to say right now, Ben and I are in agreement up here that doesn't count for Tom, the breakaway for Petrov. I'm wondering what your opinion of it is.
I totally agree. There's no way that should count for Tom at all. He's trying to argue that breakaway was counting for him, his predictions, but there's no way the puck never hit the back of the net. But this is the way the Battalion need to play this game. They didn't sit back on their heels in the first 12 minutes of this period. They keep trying to play offensively, taking care of their own zone, and they got to continue for the next 7 minutes. You can't allow London to have a hint of a comeback here in this third period, Courtney.
No, not at all. And we'll hear from you in the we'll hear from you later on for sure, as we're going to go down the stretch here for the Battalion, as we're going to get some 4-on-4 action here with both Christopoulos and Crane, both of them getting 2 minutes each for roughing. As Van Steensel gets the puck. Van Steensel looks out front, tried to get it to Arnsby. Arnsby almost had a chance there, but it's stopped up there by Diaco. Diaco back to his defenseman Mayu. Minute 30 on this 4-on-4 remains. To Diaco. Diaco gains the Battalion zone. Van Steensel's stick as he took the face-off. Shattered in the face-off dot in the Battalion zone still. Now it's McHugh battling with the puck on the near side wall. George out front looking for Mayu. Mayu couldn't get a shot away. Back to Diaco. Diaco looking for his options. Tried to get it in deep, and he does. And now Battalion player and McHugh battling for it, but McHugh is going to have to go back to the bench as he lost his helmet. Diaco over to Mayu. Mayu misses the shot, and that one goes wide, and the puck must have gone out of play because everyone seemed to not know where it went.
Yeah, and the Battalion right now is 6 minutes and 14 seconds away from their 6th consecutive victory. And one of the best games I think they played this season from the start of this game all the way here. As they had a little bit of a dip in that second period, but one of the things that's really helped in the last 4 games is the fact, again, the Battalion have only given up 1 goal. If you include this game so far, they've only given up that 1 goal. And that's been a big difference, is the defense and the goaltending. And DiVincentis, in this game, if you look at the 2 goaltenders, Brochu's given up a couple of goals they probably would have liked back, and DiVincentis has stood his ground, and it's kind of been the difference maker in this hockey game.
Bonk with the puck back at the blue line. Takes the shot, and that one's stopped by DiVincentis. Now would be a good time to tell you where the front line will be for the rest of the week. We'll be taking on the Peterborough Petes here for the North Bay Battalion. We'll be live with that one. We'll have some back-to-back Voodoo's games on Friday, Saturday before we're back against the Wolves with the Battalion on Sunday. Those 2 Voodoo's games, last ones of the regular season for Powassan as well, as all the teams start to wind down the regular season, Ben.
Yeah, and of course, one team this year per division not making the playoffs, so they're changing it up a bit, but the Voodoos have a good team, and it's going to be interesting if they can get by. I believe they'll be playing the Hearst Lumberjacks.
Looks likely as of right now.
And the last time they were in Powassan, it was a good game.
Yep, not so good for the Voodoos last time they went up north. Voodoo's not having a great road trip as of right now either. Looking to go 0 for 3 right now on their western swing through the Sioux and now Blind River. McGurn with a shot off the glass and down the ices. We're going to get back to 5-on-5 hockey. 5:20 left here in this third period. 3-0 Battalion lead. McGurn skates around. Looks for his options. Gets it up quickly for Cowan. Cowan loses it to Winslow. Winslow leaves it for McDonald. McDonald flips the puck down the ice. We'll also have to keep an eye on Brochu for you. See if he's going to go for the bench for the extra attacker. 5 minutes remain here in this third period. Battalion still up 3-0. Zito flipped the puck in on net, and that one's knocked aside. Bloom chasing after it, loses it though, and now Dickinson with the puck. Dickinson up to Crane. Crane in the Battalion zone. Looks for some chances, can't get anything going. And it's cross ice now for Dickinson. In deep for Cowan. Zito. As now they try to get the puck in. DiVincentis tried to get the blocker down to cover that one up. Couldn't. Leonard cross ice to Dickinson. Dickinson in for McGurn. Quick shot there. Is now with some pressure coming from London. Back to Leonard. Leonard cross ice for Dickinson. Dickinson's shot blocked there. Now Bloom's going to have a chance as he gets the puck up for McDonald. Battalion would have had some numbers if Bloom was able to get something quicker. As now that one's turned aside by London, and their pass attempt is going to go down into the Battalion zone with 4 minutes remaining here in this third period. We're going to get an icing call here against London.
Well, if this is what could be a potential OHL final, it would be a really good OHL final. Despite it being a 3-0 game, it's been very, very even. If you look at basically all three of the Battalion goals have come in transition. They've been a couple of great shots from McDonald and Jackson. Romani getting a couple of good opportunities, but it's been a very, very even game. It's been a very well goaltended game. And yeah, this would be a very exciting OHL final, potentially, as both teams are definitely have their eyes on that final.
Adam Dennis couldn't be in attendance as Brochu's gonna go back to the bench here, so the extra attacker is in effect for London now. Adam Dennis couldn't be in attendance for his victory over his former team in the fall. As he was sick, he was in London at the hotel, but sick. Now he's just down here in the corner right now for the Battalion, so you got to think he's enjoying this one for sure, but maybe has a little bit of sweaty palms as the game gets down to his final minutes now with 3:30 left in this third period. Gazazov loses the puck. Arnsby got to it, flipped the puck down the ice. That one would go for icing, but Tarasevic will come away with it instead. Keeps the play alive as the puck missed the empty net net rather than the empty net.
Arnsby should have taken lessons from the guy in the intermission.
Yeah.
That guy was smoking.
The other guy, not so much.
Yeah.
McGurn. As the puck now off the net as Divinchendis went to go and push off his net. And the net is off its moorings with 3 minutes remaining in this third period here. We'll get a stoppage of play in the Battalion zone. And really outside of the score, the shots are as even as they can be, 26 apiece.
Yeah.
So it's been a very tight game.
Yeah, and that really has been the way. And again, I knew this was going to happen. As soon as the Battalion kind of scored 2 goals within 28 seconds, I kind of had a sense that that was going to be the difference maker in that game. And there were times where I felt like, yeah, the London Knights could get back into it. And again, Divinchendis has made some great saves, but you got to give a lot of credit to this Battalion defensively because they have played a very good defensive game. And again, London is a very, very good team, and the Battalion are really putting them in their place today.
The Battalion, ever since they lost that big one to Sarnia, have been great defensively. It's the best way to describe it. As a shot comes in, tipped off just in front of Divinchendis. Now it's back to Mayu. Mayu flips the puck on net. Divinchendis once again off his net. London looking like they're trying to celebrate like they scored for a second, but the puck was well off the side of the net. So we'll get another stoppage here with the net off its mooring.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe they were talking about if that was intentional from Divinchendis, which it obviously did not look like.
Oh, he fell back trying to get the puck, right?
Yeah,
so,
but it's always, when that happens back-to-back, there's always some questions from the opposing team.
Yep.
But either way, it's it's one of those things where, again, Divinchendis is really, I would be very surprised if he doesn't get a start in this hockey game with the way that he's been playing. But yeah, it's just been such a well goaltended game. Even though Brochu had a couple that he'd like to have back, at the end of the day, he's made a couple of really good saves on his own right. And yeah, again, this has been one of those games where the Battalion have done what they've done is they came out hard and they controlled the pace of this game for the most part throughout the full 60 minutes.
Bonk at the point, loses it. Van Steensel flips the puck down the ice, and Mayhew's going to get to that one first. 2.5 minutes here in this third period. Battalion hold on to a 3-0 lead. The net is empty for London. Cowan loses it to Nelson. Nelson flips the puck up and over the head of Cowan, but Diaco gets to it in the neutral zone. Diaco now in for Mayhew. Mayhew sends the puck around the end boards, and that's going to find Winterton, but they can't keep it in for very long as Cowan now has the puck back near his own zone. Leaves it for Bonk. Bonk through the neutral zone. Flips the puck up. Bonk with it. Looks out front for McGurn. Couldn't get that one to go, and now Diaco with it. Diaco back to Mayhew, fanning on that shot, and Arnsby just going to chip it down the ice for Tarasevic. Tarasevic in alone. He misses the net. He had an open net and couldn't get it. Now Arnsby gets to it, though.
He was just keeping it for Arnsby.
That's exactly what it was. Liam Arnsby with his 11th of the season to match his sweater number. As now we're going to get some rough stuff after the goal. Nelson getting mixed up as well.
Well, him and Mayhew going after the 224s. As now the referees have to separate them, and I know Nelson gave a big hit on Mayhew, and now Tarasevic has a man down on the ice. Oh,
here we go. Gloves are off in that one. Tarasevic as well, battling it out with Cowan. And Arnsby whacking Bonk as well, as it just looks like everything rough's happening. Tarasevic and Cowan going on full tilt.
And
now we got
Mayu.
another fight with Arnsby. Arnsby and Mayu both going at it here in the final minute as we get two fights erupt here on the ice
And now we
between
have
these two
another one
teams.
too in the corner.
And
That's
Lukin. Oh my goodness, this is the closest thing we've seen to a line brawl in a long time. Lukin and Bonk going at it as well. Arnsby in the neutral zone still with Mayu. Tarasevic is off the ice. Lukin's fight with Bonk is done. Arnsby still going at it with Mayu as Mayu lifts up Arnsby and throws him down to the ice. Oh my goodness.
Is this hockey or like Monday Night Raw? As there were
This
three
week on the
separate
front lines WWE SmackDown. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? You know what? There was a few years ago, as the Battalion are going to ice this one 4-0 with an empty net goal. Liam Arnsby getting into another fight. This happened a few years ago when the Battalion had, this is Mike, how long ago was Mike Baird played here, another number 11 for the Battalion. He got into it with, I'm forgetting the name of the goaltender, Sean Burke's son. I can't remember his first name, but anyways, he was in net for London. They got into it, and a whole legitimate line brawl broke out on the ice with every player that was on the ice.
That's what we just saw pretty much, like six of the 10
These
guys?
teams don't play each other a lot.
Yeah.
They're Western and Eastern foes. It's like,
Oh, and now Nelson got a little bit of a slash there from Max McHugh as he gave him a slash when he was picking up all the gloves. And they have to be separated, but this was kind of building up this entire game. You could hear right when Arnsby started it, and I'm going to blame Derek on this one because Derek was the one who said they had to be aggressive.
well, Derek's down there in the corner waiting to get some video footage here for TikTok or something. Whatever he's doing. You can find us on TikTok now, by the way. So,
well, Arnsby scores a goal, gets kicked out. I think Nelson's getting kicked out too.
No, it doesn't look like it.
He was being escorted to the end, but now he's staying in. As again, him and Max McHugh had some, and now it looks like Diaco and Nelson are going to go talk to the referees with Arnsby out.
Nelson has yet to fight in his OHL career, but he's been looking like the last little while that he's gearing up for one. Like, he's not afraid to mix it up.
And I'm sure the referees aren't happy because they're just about ready to go home, and then this happens.
Yeah,
and
it's like, come on, guys, a minute 39
it's
left
like an
from home.
NBA game. But either way, that was very interesting. But you could just, I don't know if there was something that was said after that goal. I don't know if it was because Tarasevic missed the net. They thought it was intentional. They gave it to Arnsby, who's had a fantastic game, by the way. And I'm not too sure what exactly transpired there, but yeah.
So even before the goal, when Tarasevic was on his break, he took a few real nasty slashes while he was getting by the players there.
Yeah.
And then right after the goal, there's a few more slashes. So I think it was just that kept building up.
Yeah, not surprising at all, but either way, I think it'll be interesting to see if there's any actual penalties that are going to come out of this outside of fighting. Because you have to, of course, there's automatic instigators that come out, and I think that's what they're trying to figure out. And we'll see.
Well, Arnsby's already had his fight limit when it comes to instigators.
Well, you got to think that London probably has to get most of them because London started a lot of those fights. At least the first fight with Tarasevic, but it's going to be interesting how this shakes out.
Put your hand up if you had on your bingo card Nikita Tarasevic getting into a fight.
I had fighting on my bingo card, and there was 4 fights.
You did say there would be at least 2 more fights in the period, and there was 3 right there. So Ben Sargent, you +1 for you.
Yeah, put it all in black. Let's do it.
It is Gateway Casino night here at the Garden.
There you go.
I guess we're gonna have to go and go to the casino after this one, eh, Ben?
Yeah. Well, we don't know if they're going to be fighting majors yet because Bouchard's wasn't a fighting
That's
major.
true. That's true.
It was just a straight up suplex to the ground. But the other
I'm
thing
telling
too
you, this is the frontline SmackDown.
Mayu
right here.
did kind of give Arnsby a bit of a suplex to the ice too after.
Yeah, he did.
So, and he's been very kind of all over the place, like him
From
and Nelson.
the top rope.
But
see, this is the game that Matt should have been here to call because Matt's had experience calling wrestling.
There you go.
I don't.
Well, initially you guys switched. He was supposed to do this game.
Yeah, he was supposed to do it. And, somebody had to go down south.
Yeah.
I guess the bright city lights,
Yeah, I know.
I was just thinking about it. I was like, oh, my article's going to be easy to write up the third period. It's one goal to talk about. No, now I'm going to have to mention the line brawl that just broke out here. As it looks like they're going to get some explanations now with Diaco and Nelson coming across.
Well, the London, oh, there we go. We got a 4-minute on the clock for London from Mayu. And that's, so far the Battalion box is not open, just the London box. And the only thing on the scoreboard is a 4-minute, looks like a double minor for Mayu. So I'm sure this will be a lot of work from a PA standpoint.
I wonder if there's going to be any suspensions that come out of this too.
That would be very interesting to see. That's going to be something that, and again, these teams don't play each other. But if you have like a Logan Mayu who gets suspended or somebody like that, and if you look at who the Battalion play at to end the season, coming out of this hockey game, they play Peterborough, Sudbury, Hamilton, Niagara, Mississauga. Those aren't the hardest teams. Like, they're good teams. Some of those are good teams. But when you look at London's schedule, they've got Windsor 2 more times. They're fighting for that top spot right now. The Battalion have a 3-point cushion on Barrie, depending on how they do today. And, or at least at the end of this game, it will be at some point 5 points. So if you're London, you're in a much more precarious spot than the North Bay Battalion are. And you got to be kind of careful with what's going to happen here. And again, these guys are young. They're still 17, 18, 19, 20. A lot of times what can happen is they think with their emotions more than with their brain, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this kind of goes away, as it looks like it'll be
Levin will be in the box.
Yeah, Levin's going to
serving that penalty.
Serve a penalty.
It looks like that's the only penalty so far. Just to illustrate your point, though, Hamilton, who's in that last week of the schedule for the Battalion, the second last home game here. Last I saw, we're up 5-1 on the Ottawa 67s.
There you go. And unfortunately for the Battalion, when they went to play Flint, Saginaw, and Sarnia, that's kind of where the Ottawa 67s were able to break things apart. But it looks like we're ready to go, and there's only 4 minutes on the clock. And they're going to take the face-off right at center ice here, obviously, after a goal. Looks like Tarasevic is going to get an assist on that open net, obviously. Arnsby, yeah.
How was there not?
What we really want to know is what the penalties are.
Yeah. As we're going to get going underway here with the Battalion on the power play. So here we go. Easton Cowan, 5 minutes for fighting. Logan Mayu, 2 for slashing, 2 for instigating, 5 for fighting, and a game misconduct. Wow.
Which is kind of irrelevant, but that could be something with suspensions.
Yep. So Logan Mayu once again having issues with the law. 1:05 left in this third period here. 3:24 left in the period. Back for McDonald. McDonald in deep. Goes back to the point for Christopoulos as we're into the final minute here. 4-0 Battalion lead.
Arnsby like getting a game misconduct as well.
Yeah, well.
Not that it matters. But.
Game's over anyways. As now London just clears the puck down the ice. DiVincentis stops that one up. It's behind his net now. Hislop with it. And Lucan getting a 10-minute misconduct as well. 30 seconds here remaining in this game.
Not that any of that was really relevant, obviously, with them coming down, but it will be very interesting to keep an eye on any suspensions potentially.
20 seconds here as the Battalion are going to come away as they just play keep away in their own zone right now. To a loud applause here by Troops fans everywhere. 12 seconds left as the Troops are going to skate away with a 4-0 victory over the London Knights. Paul Christopoulos talking to Julian in front of the net. And the Battalion, again, an ever-important 2 points here today as they pick it up, the win, 4-0 over the London Knights. And a very big victory for the Troops.
And now I can say it officially, with that one goal given up in the last 5 games, their 4th shutout in 5 games, have now tied a team record. Back in 14-15, Jake Smith helping along with that record of the number of shutouts, 7 in a total season. They are 1 away now from taking with about 5 games left, to making a franchise record.
And with their 43rd win of the season here today, that ties last season's record. And with one more win, they'll tie their overall franchise record at 44 from Brampton in 2005-06. I'm Courtney Kenny. He's Ben Sargent. Ben Long's our producer. Derek Lindeman's waiting for me to run down there, so he won't be on the post-game show, but you will have to, unfortunately, deal with Ben, I guess, for a couple of minutes. So
we'll figure out the penalties.
We're going to throw it a break. We'll try to figure out those penalties for you on the other side. Keep an eye on our social medias. Ryan Houlihan will be up shortly after the game as well. And, of course, with Harrison from the Garrison, who will have something up on TikTok as well. For this one, I'm Courtney Kenny. As always, keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindeman, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcast.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Tonight's 3 stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
Well, we welcome you back inside Memorial Gardens for the Frontline postgame show, as it was the North Bay Battalion picking up a 4-0 victory. As what a sparks flying at the end there. 3 different fights happening. There were some game misconducts, potential suspensions, a lot of stuff. At the end of the day, the Battalion come away with a 4-0 victory to gain a little bit more room with the Barrie Colts. The London Knights, unfortunately, not able to pull apart away from the Windsor Spitfire, as they remain tied with them on top of the league. Let's take a look at our 3 stars of the game. The 3rd star, Dom DeVincentis, who picks up a shutout in this hockey game. It is the Battalion's 4th shutout in their last 5 games. They've only given up 1 goal in that span, which has now tied them with a regular season record, which was set back in 2014-15. That was held by Jake Smith, Evan Cormier, and Jake Clement, as they are now 1 shutout away from taking the lead with about 5 games left in the season. Let's take a look at the scoring summary. The lone goal of the period coming from Leon Arnsby, who scored the empty net goal. It was an assist put on there by Nikita Tarasevich as well before all hell broke loose. As let's take a look at some of the penalties here in the 3rd period. As they haven't quite been updated yet, as Brody Crane went off for roughing at the 12:36 mark. Paul Christopoulos went off for roughing at the same time as it was coincidental minors, and they have yet to update the site yet when it comes to actual penalties, but there were quite a few. Logan Mayu going off. He went off for fighting, as well as he had a he had a slashing minor in there as well, a roughing minor, and a game misconduct. We also saw Alexander Lukin leaving with a 10-minute game misconduct. We saw Liam Arnsby getting a fighting major with also a game misconduct in there as well. And there were a couple of other ones that we don't quite have the summary for yet, as again there was a lot to kind of unpack there. But overall, if you look at the shots on goal, it was 8-7 in favor of London Knights. The total shots even at 27 shots apiece. And again, it was the Battalion coming away with a 4-0 victory. Our next broadcast will be on Thursday night as the Peterborough Petes come to town as they'll face off. That's going to be a normal 6:50 start here on the Frontline YouTube channel. We also have a couple of games coming on the weekend, as well as the Voodoos round out their season on Friday and on Saturday before coming back on Sunday, where it will be the Battalion facing the Sudbury Wolves, a potential round 1 matchup in the playoffs, as we have about 5 games left and less than a month to go before we get to the playoffs. So for everybody here, for Derek Lindemann, for Courtney Kenny, for Ben Long, our producer, I'm Ben Sargent, saying thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. What a fantastic game, as it was the Battalion coming away with a 4-0 victory. And as always, keep your eye on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports the Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.